Hey, shalom, shalom to everybody listening. This is Rabbi Lewis coming back at you once again through the power of the internet. Through the power of the internet. Today we have a special guest. This will be our third show. Today we have a special guest back with us again today. Brother Hezekiah, also known as Edomite Slayer. He's back with us today. This is our third broadcast. Glad to have you guys. So today's topic is going to be, last week we covered a topic. The topic was when Israel returns from exile, where will they be going? Up to the sky or back to the land of Israel? So today we're going to be dealing with a similar topic, but today we're going to be dealing with the nature of our return, of Israel's return. The UFOs or the nations? How's my audio, Brother Zeki? Am I coming through good?
You're loud and clear.
Yeah, just making sure my audio is good. All right, so today's show is going to be about the UFOs or the nations, how the nature of Israel's return. How are we going to go back? Through UFOs or through the nations? So let's get started. There's two separate doctrines going around amongst the Hebrew Israelite community, one Messianic and one non-Messianic. Our brother Zeki, who's here with us today, you can see right now, he's non-Messianic. So you get groups like GMS, IUIC, GOCC, Awaken Israel, which all came from a school called One West in Harlem. They all broke off after the school closed in 2000, I believe, and started doing their own thing. And then when YouTube came into existence in 2007, they started to post their own videos and created YouTube channels. And then from there, the Hebrew Israelite doctrine grew like wildfire, so to speak. So how are we gonna return? So the New Testament groups teach that we're going back in the UFOs, while the Old Testament groups teach that the nations are going to send us back. So that's what we're going to be dealing with today. I'll let Brother Zeki introduce himself, and hopefully the audio is coming through good. And I'll let him introduce himself and do his opening statements.
All right, peace, YISRAEL. Come in the name of the Father, Creator, heaven of earth, the fountain of living waters, Yah of hosts, Yah righteousness is his name. And I continuously say Yah. And maybe in a later discussion, we'll discuss the actual name of the Creator to break that down as well. But happy to be here, see another day, and coming in the name of Yah to dispel a lot of myths amongst the children of YISRAEL so we can all get this thing on one accord. Those that are willing, that are seeking truth, that read, study, pray, and do what they see in the book as opposed to just reading and studying and not doing. Because as YISRAEL, we have a problem with doing, and that's why we're in captivity now, because we don't keep law, statutes, commandments, precepts, ordinances, and judgments. So with that being the case, like I said, I'm here today to show factually and conceptually from the scriptures what the Creator and our ancestors, the prophets, broke down for us as in regards to how we're going to lead this captivity. There's nothing new under the sun, and us going away in UFOs as a people is something definitely new under the sun out of our captivity. So that is not biblical. So we're going to dispel that myth today. So that's pretty much it.
That's right. Yeah, Khan. So yeah, Khan just means yes in Hebrew for those who don't know. So yeah, we'll dive right in. So yeah, we'll dive right in. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm making sure my audio is going through pretty good. So how's Israel going to return? How's Israel going back to the land, Brother Zeki? You want to talk about that?
Well, the children of Israel are going back the same way we've went back throughout multiple captivities. The Creator of heaven and earth, first off, puts us into captivity for disobedience. And then the Creator of heaven and earth, utilizing the nations, like the Creator of heaven and earth doesn't come down and literally whoop us and chastise us physically as a father would do his son. The Creator uses the nations, and more particular in our times, He uses a sword mentioned in Bereshit or Genesis chapter 27:40. Esau is the sword. He uses the sword in other nations to chastise Israel and provoke us to jealousy so that we can understand our position, our rightful place. So the nations are going to be sending us back. People sit there and think that's far-fetched. The nations hate us. They won't do this. They won't do that. You got to also look and understand that it was very far-fetched for them to go on the other side of the world, kidnap a people, bring them to this side of the world, and scatter them throughout the four corners of the earth. That seemed very improbable as well. And that's why I believe our ancestors fell into that trap, because that seemed very improbable. And when you're going off in the law, statutes, commandments, you're not keeping the law, statutes, commandments, precepts, orders, and judgments, you start to think that certain things aren't real, certain things aren't true, just like our people read prophecy every day, and it never dawns on them that they continuously call the Most High a liar by going against what the word says. So we'll just let the book talk for itself, and we'll ask various questions. Let the book talk for itself, and if people want to come in and chime in and ask questions in the second half of the program, any questions, no question is off topic as long as it's dealing with the scriptures. So other than that, we're going back because the nations, through the power of the Creator, are going to send us back.
Okay, so for those who wonder what the Hebrew Israelites believe, they believe that after the temple was destroyed by Titus and Vespasian, Caesar in 70 AD, the Jews fled into West Africa. And there's plenty of historical sources that can substantiate that or do back that up, like the Encyclopedia of the Jewish Diaspora, which unequivocally states that the Jews were in West Africa during the time of Mali and Timbuktu. There were Israelites that were dwelling in West Africa, you know. And of course, they believe that the Portuguese and the Spanish came to West Africa and were enslaving these African people. But if you do some research, you'll find they were not Africans; they were Israelites who were dwelling in Africa. So, yeah, a little background. Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And how's my audio, brother? How's my audio? Pretty good?
Yeah, y'all does pretty good. That's pretty good.
Okay, great. So yeah, so Noah had 3 sons. The biblical patriarch Noah had 3 sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. Now, if you look at any rabbinical tradition, or any Torah-based tradition, you know that Shem and Ham were both dark-skinned people. So, you know, West Africa would be the land of Ham. The Shemites were dark-skinned, just Shemites. That's an historical fact. So the Israelites were dwelling amongst the other dark-skinned nations in West Africa, where the Spanish and the Portuguese came and picked them up and threw the slave trade. You know, some of the Israelites got traded by the Somalians with the Zidonians, and they got pushed into India. Some people went to Ethiopia, Morocco, but a great deal of the Israelites went to West Africa, where they got picked up by the Spanish and the Portuguese. So for the gainsayers who say, well, we don't believe the nations are going to send Israel back because of the hatred they have for our people, for the Israelite people, you know, the black people. Well, Ezekiel brought a few weeks ago, that's as of March the 1st, all the Ethiopian Jews who came to Israel through Project Moses in the 90s are being pushed back into Eritrea, Somalia, Sudan.
It started in the mid-80s.
In the mid-80s, I'm sorry, under Project Moses. Project Moses was the Israeli government paid for the Ethiopian Jews, the Falasha Jews, to go back to the land of Israel. So it happened. It happened with the Ethiopian Falasha Jews. So it's far-fetched for it to happen to our, when you know, and Ezekiel will tell you that the Falasha Jews are Israelites, and I'm sure he wants to go expound on that.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
So as of March 1st, was just passed, it's March 11th, if you don't know, the Ethiopian Jews were offered $3,500 each to go back to lead the land of Israel, or they faced imprisonment. So as of March the 1st, 2018, they can't stay in the land anymore. So the nations are paying for them to go back to Ethiopia. They're giving them $3,500 each to go back to Ethiopia to lead the land of Israel. I'm sure he wants to talk about that.
Okay, well, for the most part, like I said, when you look up the term Falasha, the word Falasha, and they call themselves Beta Israel, means stranger. They're anti-idolatry, just like most of the other children of Israel. Most of us in the world today, we're pretty much in idolatry. So And when I say that, I mean as collective as whole, because I don't believe in idolatry. I don't follow idolatry, and I'm not into idolatry. So with that being the case, yes, those Amalekite, Edomite Jews, the people living in the land today, are Jews. The biggest misnomer is that we are Jews. So what I want to do is I want to break this down, and we can settle this once and for all, that we're not, I repeat, we're not Jews. Okay? Now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the Strongs, because when you go into the book of Revelation, it makes no distinction between tribes. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen for just a second. And we should be able to see. Okay. So as you can see here, in the Strong's Concordance, Hebrew 3064, you see the phrase Yahudi. Now, it says patronymic from 3063, a Yehudite. That is a Judite or a Jew or a descendant of Yehuda, that is Judah. Okay. And it says Jew, and it's in the KJV 75 times. Okay. So now, it says that is a Judite or a descendant of Yehuda, right? So when you look up the phrase Yehudi, it says you're a Yehudite, meaning you're from the fourth-born son of Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel, and his mother Leah, and his name was Yehuda, okay? And Yahudi is talking about the collective, and Yehudite is talking about it from a different perspective. But those words are interchangeable. So it says patronymic from H3063, a Jehudite, that is Judite or Jew, or descendant of Judah, Jehuda, or Yehuda, right? That is Judah. So now, when we go into Testament, and we see the phrase, Paul saying he is also a Jew from the tribe of Benjamin. Okay, so let's just go to Romans. This is Romans chapter 11, verse 1. It says, I say then, have God cast away his people? God forbid, for I also am an Israelite of the seed of Israel, of the tribe of Benjamin, right? So as you can see here, he says, I'm also an Israelite, right? Of the seed of Abraham, from the tribe of Benjamin, okay? Now, this is what we find funny. We start seeing these things, and this is how you know these people are not the children of Israel at all, okay? Okay? This is how you know that all of this stuff is just, I guess you can call it make-believe or whatever. Because when you go to, let's see, let's search this for 1 second. And we're looking for the misnomer that we call Jew. Okay, Acts. It says Acts chapter 21, verse 9. But Paul said, I am a man which am a Jew of Tarsus. Okay. So now when you look at Eudas, it gives you, it says a Udian that is belonging to Yehuda, Judah. Right? It said as a country, and said Udian that is belonging to Yehuda. Okay. Now, if you know a Judean, a Yehudite, this is a Pacific tribe, and the tribes valued and honored their mothers and fathers. They didn't go around. You didn't see Simeonites going around calling themselves Levi or the whites. Okay, that's not how it works. See, today in captivity, we all want to be from the head tribe because the scriptures tell us that Judah is the head tribe. So now all of a sudden we want to be from the head tribe. But that's not exactly how it works. So how is Paul a Jew? He's not a Yehudite, okay? But he's still calling himself a Jew. So either two things. Either he's calling himself a Jew because now the definition for Yehudi has changed from one descendant from the tribe of Yehuda to now somebody living in that land. So that has completely nothing to do with it, because anybody living in that land would now be called a Yehuda, a Judean, a Yehudite. That makes no sense. No different than if I moved to China, I wouldn't be a Chinese person. If I moved to North Korea, I'm no longer Israel, but I'm North Korean now. Well, I guess when we were living in the land of Kemet or Misraim, I guess now we were Misraim. No, we were named after our father, YISRAEL, 12 tribes, and we have, each 12 tribes has a royal clan, tribe, and they're all respecting their mothers and fathers. Okay, so we just saw a contradiction between that term Jew, and we're not Jews. First and foremost, as you guys know, technically, there's no J in the Hebrew alphabet. The letter J is not even 500 years old. Okay, so we're not Jews. Okay, so I think it's time for us to stop using that misnomer, because that's what Esau uses to throw us off the track, have us arguing that with Jews. When we go back into history and we see Jews living in Mali and in Songhai, we automatically think that's us. But we're going to go into the scriptures and show where we would discontinue from our heritage. We didn't know who we were. See, that doesn't even line up with Deuteronomy chapter 28:7, dealing with the curses. That doesn't line up with the curses. The curses are, you're going to be cursed. You're not going to be kicked out of the land, cursed by Yah. Get all the curses from verse 15 through 67. And then once you get those curses, somehow move to another part, West Africa, a very rich and powerful kingdom, but you're cursed. If someone explain to me how that happened, so I want you to explain to me how that happens, that we're cursed by God. We have the curses with the head. We're no longer the head, with the tail, where men are sleeping with our wives, where we have no power, where our brothers' eyes are evil towards us, where our wives' are evil towards us, where they come against us, they don't show regard for the elderly or the young, right? The young or the old. We're worshiping gods of wood and stone, idolatry, but somehow we're going to create one of the greatest empires in West Africa, and we're cursed. So I need someone to explain that first and foremost. Then we'll understand that we're not Jews. And that's what Esau, the Amalekite, Edomite Jew, the Ashkenazi Jew, he's not a Japhite, he's not a Khazarian. That was just one of the things they was going through later on in history, which started in what, six something? I want to say AD, 690, maybe 690 AD, the Khazarian Empire, Khazarian Khaganate. So that started much later. Okay, so now what I want you to explain to me is how we're cursed with the curses of Deuteronomy chapter 15 through 67. We're no longer in the land. We're no longer sacrificing. Yah has put us into captivities. Yah has sent the nations against us, but we're building powerful empires. We're discontinuing from our heritage according to Yeremiah, but we still know who we are. It's not making any sense. This is not making any sense. We're cursed, kicked out of the land and cursed, but we're going to Mali and we're rich. We don't see that here in America. We don't see us on the top. We don't see our communities in the neighborhoods we all grew up in. We don't see us flourishing in those neighborhoods. We don't see the police respecting our wishes and values, our culture system. Okay. Matter of fact, the people today don't even understand or know their culture system. So I want someone to explain that to me, because we were told we would discontinue from our heritage. We will be without a king for many days. So why is it in the Zah dynasty we have a king? See, somebody's not thinking this thing through. And Esau intentionally did this to have us looking all throughout history and accepting the term Jew, Jew, Jew. There's no such thing as a Jew. It's a misnomer. They're Jews. We are children of Israel. You're Yehudi, you're named after your father. You're called by your father's name, Yehudi, Yehuda, right? We're not Jew. The word Jew doesn't mean anything. The name of the creator is not in the name Jew. You can't say it in Hebrew. It's a transliterated word that doesn't mean what people think it means. So with that, I want you to explain to me how we would discontinue from our heritage, and then somehow we're in these creating these powerful empires, and we're reigning and we got gold and silver and diamonds and we got kings. But I thought the scriptures told us we go many days without a king. See, something's not adding up. So I want you to explain that to me. I'll yield. Go ahead.
Right, that's right, that's right. So let's get started. We're gonna screenshot these two links I posted in the chat if you have time. Your brother Zeki doesn't mind screenshotting them. Click the second one first, brother. Click the second link first, if you could. Jews of Balad Sudan. Mike is muted, brother. I don't know if you know.
Said in the actual chat.
Hit the blue thing at the top left hand corner. You'll see the two links I posted.
You put links in the chat.
Y'all put the link in the chat. You should see it says Jews of Balad Sudan.
All I see, I don't in the group chat. All I see is the Great Millstone YouTube video link. That's it. That you posted at 6:04.
There you go. I just posted. You should see it.
Okay, I see it now. Okay.
We're gonna deal with this first. This is a Wikipedia link dealing with what the Arabs, who were obviously slave trading, were calling the West African people. How they viewed the West African people, because the Arabs were slave trading before the Spanish and the Portuguese. The Muslims were slave trading the Arabs. So we're gonna prove that. For those who say that the quote unquote that the slave trade was not an Islamic affair, which is what they claim. The Moors claim and the Muslims claim.
Okay, now dealing with this is going to put us in a different position, because this is not dealing with the topic. So what I'm saying is,
what I wanted to do. Sorry to cut you off, brother. What I wanted to drive the point home that there was an Hebrew presence in West Africa, because you got gainsayers like Keith Thompson, who made videos like Black Hebrews Like to Exposed, and other people, and other gainsayers that say that there wasn't no Hebraic presence in West Africa, which is totally false. Or some people want to call it ahistorical. This is false. This is a false claim. We're going to prove that there was a Hebrew presence in West Africa, according to the Jews themselves, according to Esau himself. So that's the point I want to put home. That's why I want to read the link.
Okay, I understand exactly what you're saying with that. What I'm saying is, hold on one second. Let's see. Okay, let me see if I can share this real quick. All right. Let me see if I can share this real quick.
Right, because you got people saying that there was no Hebrew presence in West Africa after 70 AD, which is totally false. We're going to prove that.
Well, we're not. Well, the thing about it is, though, let me see something. Okay, it's not, for some reason, it's not letting me, let me see what's going on here.
There you go. We can see it now. Just scroll up.
Here we go. All right. So, remember, the thing about it was the misnomer is that the word Jew is not talking about us. Okay, that's the first thing. Okay. Okay. Now, it says the Jews of Balad al-Sudan, Judo-Arabic, describes West African Jewish communities who were connected to known Jewish communities from the Middle East, North Africa, or Spain and Portugal. Various historical records attest to their presence at one time in Ghana, Mali, and Songhai empires, then called the Balad al-Sudan, from the Arabic meaning land of the blacks. Jews from Spain, Portugal, and Morocco and Lydia also formed communities off the coast of Senegal and on the islands of Cape Verde. These communities continue to exist for hundreds of years, but have since disappeared due to changing social conditions, persecution, migration, and assimilation. Okay? So what did you want me to read? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yep. I can. So we just read is a fact that it was a Jewish presence in West Africa. The Jews, or the Israelites, the Hebrews, were in West Africa. They were in Ghana, Mali, and Songhai. So they were in West Africa. Now you have a book called the Encyclopedia of the Jewish Diaspora, which is a book about where the Jews went after they were put in exile. And the book also talks a lot about how there were Jews in West Africa. There was a Jewish presence in West Africa. So Also, there's another book called The Hebrew Israelites of West Africa, proving that there were Israelites in West Africa, linguistically and through artifacts. Like, for example, there's a West African tribe called the Ashanti tribe. Can you hear me, brother?
Yes, I hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, there's a West tribe that came called the Ashanti tribe. Now, if you do some research, you know the word Ashan is a Hebrew word. It was a town in the Bible, in the called Ashan. The TI and Ashanti just denotes a nationality or a landmass, if I'm not mistaken. So the Ashanti people are from the from the town of Ashan in the Hebrew Bible. You know, and of course there's other examples in the book called Hebrew Israelites of West Africa. So I'll let the brother respond to that. Oh, before we go on, there's one more article I wanted to look at before we get into the topic, just to drive the point home that there were Israelites in West Africa. And here's some genetic proof that you know these people were Israelites. See, I'm gonna post the link right now, brother. 1 second. Okay, there it is, brother. You should see it. This is my last. Let's drive this point home, and then I'll let the brother Zeki go. We'll get into this.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, if you could screenshot that.
Can you see it?
Yeah, the Moorish Jews of Portugal, Spain, Benin, the Guinea Coast, and Oceania. You mind reading that, brother?
Yes. It says, and let me see something. And this is from, like I said, this is from a pseudo source, but we'll deal with it. It says Black Moorish Jews of Maghreb, Sudan, and the Iberian Peninsula, the Moranos. Black Jews have lived in Iberian Africa as far back as the time of the Carthaginians. Jewish traders sailed on Carthaginian merchant ships and traded all along the coast of North Africa, even into the Americas. Many African tribes along the coast of North Africa and way into the southern savannas, beyond the Sahara Desert, they were ancient Hebraic Jewish tribes. Those tribes that got caught up in events that followed the death of the Islamic prophet Muhammad all the way from Medina to the Maghreb. It is widely acknowledged that one of the most determined fighters against the black Arab encroachment of black African Berber property was Queen Kahina, a black Jewish queen of the Maghreb. Early Arab scholars who visited the southern fringes of the Sahara Desert report the presence of Jewish tribes in places such as ancient Ghana and Mali. Many tribes in Africa still recall their Hebraic roots, and many more continue their ancient Jewish law and tradition unadulterated by the politics of modern days. When the African Moors moved north and conquered Spain, it was a confederation of African Muslims, African Jews, and the African Christians who effected the victory. The African Jews and the African Muslims were brothers genetically, phenotypically, and historically. They were the same black people pursuing the same goals of righteous existence. So the African Moorish Empire took root in Iberia and the rest of the southern Mediterranean coast. Black African Muslims and black African Jews, with their black African Christians as such, ruled Europe for the next 700 years. Then it goes into the unholy Roman Catholic Church. Hello?
We don't have to get into this. We get right. We don't have to go through the whole article, but you just scroll down. I think it's more to that.
More to it where? I mean, if you see it, just go ahead and read it. Because you're drawing up this. It's not dealing with what we're talking about. We're talking about Jews and who are the Jews. All you're doing is reading text that talks about Jews.
You can just scroll down a little bit. I'm just making sure that was on that. I'm reading. I'm just making sure. See.
Because this is a lot. Let's get to the point. If you have it, the people have the website. They can see it. They can stop and pause it and go to it. So, what point were you talking about in the article? Let's go ahead.
Okay, 1 second. Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. Okay, I got it, brother. Scroll down where it starts talking about in 1492 how the Jews got expelled from Europe. If you go down. Sorry about that, brother. I gotta look. I'm about to make a point. That's why I'm gonna.
Okay, just go ahead. Okay.
There you go. There you go. You see where it says beginning in 1478? Go down.
I don't see a beginning in 1478.
Scroll up a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Can you scroll up a little bit?
Let me know when to stop.
Yeah, go ahead. It says beginning in 1470. If you could just read that, brother.
Okay, beginning in 1478, in the reign of Ferdinand and Isabella, no less than 13,000 Morenos, black Jews, were executed by the Inquisition. At the same time, the monarchs continued to employ Jewish functionaries such as Don Isaac Abravanel in their court. Luis de Torres, another Spanish black Jew, played a pivotal role in Christopher Columbus' first journey to North America. Script Collins is actually Christopher Columbus.
Yeah, keep reading that, brother, if you don't mind.
Well, you're gonna have to read it because I can't be reading everything for everybody. This is like you pulling these sources. I have my material that I'm gonna start going into now, so you're gonna have to read it because you're looking at it on the screen. Go ahead and read it.
Yeah, like I said, my audio goes in and out. It's difficult to read. That's why I'm reading.
You're loud and clear on this side. You're not breaking up at all.
Okay, well, if you guys can hear me, I'll try this out. 1480s, the Spanish Inquisition was launched. Hundreds of thousands of Jews and Muslims were hounded, persecuted, jailed, enslaved, and deported. On March 31st, 1492, the Edict of Expulsion was signed, resulting in 300,000 Moreno black Jews to the coast of Guinea in West Africa. So according to the Edict of Expulsion in 1492, 300,000 black Jews got kicked out of Spain and went to West Africa. So these were black Jews who were living in West Africa. So the last Jews left on August 2nd, 1492, the day before Columbus sailed. And there was a quote that said, "After you expelled the Jews, your majesty sent me with the fleet." He was talking to Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand. Can you scroll down, brother? Okay, right there. So it says means Moors Jews in Spanish. Well, the black Jews of Spain ruled the country for 700 years. So the Moors and the black Jews were all ruling Spain for 700 years. That started in 711 to 1492 when the expulsion happened. Scroll down, brother, if you don't mind. All right, that's all on that. The rest of it is just sources. Sources. If you scroll down, you see the sources like Richard Lobin's Jew in Cape Verde on the Golden Coast. If you just go down, you see the other sources so the brothers and sisters can read the source material. Columbus's diaries, Wallace Budge, Egypt Book of the Dead, the newadvent.org, Alicia Big Goat, White Quincy, and Edward Rothstein as well, using the new. So that's all. Oh yeah, so before I let the brother go on, so there was 300,000 Jews who got pushed into West Africa after they got kicked out of Spain. They went to West Africa. So there was Jews all throughout West Africa. And yeah, so that's all I had to say. Just driving the point home that Jews in West Africa, just to prove it. All right.
Okay. So the point you're driving home, and as like I told you, if we can get in all of this today, I'm coming to do work. So like I said, I'm coming to do work with sources most people don't ever really pay attention to because people keep getting caught up in the term Jew. What you just did was for 20 minutes, you talked about the term Jew. That's it. You just read a source that had the word Jew in it, and somehow you think that equates to Hebrew Israelite, when it does not. This is what I keep telling you consistently. According to the scriptures, not my words, but the words of the Most High and the prophets, we were going to discontinue from our heritage. Let's go and get that real quick so we can get this this show rolling, because we're not just gonna read just things in general. All right, as I'm gonna share my screen, and by sharing my screen, I want you to look at this and see. All right, as you can see here, can you see Yeremiah chapter 17, verse 4? Do you see that? Hello?
I'm looking at Romans 11.
Hold on one second. No, I'm saying what I'm highlighting right here. You can't see what I'm highlighting? You can't see it?
I see it now. I see it now.
Okay. Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in my anger which shall burn forever. Okay, so now, first off, let's understand, even thou, who's the thou? YISRAEL, even thyself shall discontinue. The Hebrew word is 8058, shamat, fling down, and simply to jostle, figuratively to let alone, desist, remit, discontinue, overthrow, release, let, rest, shake, stumble, throw down. So you shall discontinue from what? Thine heritage, right? From thine heritage. And the Hebrew word for heritage is right there, as you can see on the screen, Hebrew 5159, nakalah, right? And it says from Hebrew 5157, properly something inherited, that is abstractly occupancy, or concretely an heirloom, generally an estate, patrimony or portion, heritage. Now, Israelites love to go to the book of Romans and say the covenants, the giving of the law, all these different things are the inheritance. They understand this, right? But somehow when we read Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 4, we don't understand that inheritance is talking about who we are as a people. Because what we inherited was the Creator himself, YHWH. That's what we inherited. Okay, so the land that when you go back to Genesis, we didn't even get the entire land that was promised to Abraham. Okay, and Yah left Canaanites in the land, and the prophecy was that in the future, Yah would kick the Canaanites out of the land. There would be no more in the house of Yah. They wouldn't be able to congregate in the congregation of Yah. The Moabites are going to be dealt with. The Egyptians are going to be dealt with. Yah is going to reign supreme through the earth through his children, the children of Israel, which that has not happened. Okay, so he says, even thou, even thyself shall discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee. Who gave it to us? Yah. And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies. So when you start bringing up this West Africa, you start bringing up Mali, Songhay, Ghana, talking about Jews there. That's not what he said. He said we will serve our enemies. Captivity in the land which thou knowest not. We were not from West Africa. For ye have kindled a fire in my anger which shall burn forever. Thus saith the Lord, cursed be the man that trusted in man and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart departed from Yah. You see that? So when you go back and look at this, it makes it crystal clear that we're going to discontinue from our heritage. Now watch this here. Let's see what the prophet Moshe said. Let's see, one second. Hold on. Check this out. All right. So let's go down here. Let's see. Let's see. Hold on one second. All right, Hosea chapter 3, verse 4. For the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king, and without a prince, and without a sacrifice, and without an image, and without an ephod, and without a teraphim. Okay? Now, when we go back and look at this, if you go back and look at it, it says, the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king, without a prince, without a sacrifice, and without an image. So we had no temple, correct? We had no temple. And when we go to Hosea chapter 3, this is all broken down for us. Okay? Because you go back to verse 4, he said, as I said unto her in verse 3, thou shalt abide for me many days, thou shalt not play the harlot, and thou shalt not be for another man, so I will also be for thee. So you just go up and look. And this is talking about Hosea redeems his wife. Then said the Lord unto me, go yet love a woman beloved of her friend, yet an adulteress according to the love of the Lord, toward the children of Israel who look to other gods and love flagons of wine. So this is where Hosea was told to get with an adulterous woman, because that's exactly a representation of what we're doing to Yah. We're messing with the philosophies and things of the earth, right? And that's what you see here, us in here in captivity in America. We're literally in gods of wood and stone, and the curses mentioned in Deuteronomy 28, 15 through 67. Newly gods raised up that our fathers knew not. All of these things are going on right now. So when we go back and look at the term Jew, we're going into a land, we're cursed, we're kicked out of the kingdom of Yah. Now, first off, I just told you the word Jew is a misnomer because all the tribes are not called Jew. Okay? I just gave the Hebrew word for the word Jew. Now, what I want to do is I want to go into the New Columbia Encyclopedia, and I'm just going to have to hold this up to the screen so that you can see it. Hopefully you'll be able to see it. And everything should come through pretty clear. Hopefully it does. Let's see here. Pretty big. This is the New Columbia. See that? Encyclopedia. Okay. And this is on page 1415. Hopefully the print is kind of small. The book's kind of heavy, but hopefully I'll be able to show it to you. If not, I don't know if you can see it under the term Jews right there. Well, anyway, if you can't see it, I'm just going to read it. All right. It says, Jews from Judah, originally descendants of Judah, the fourth son of Jacob, whose tribe, along with that of his half-brother Benjamin, made up the kingdom of Yehudah. The term later came to designate followers of the religion Judaism, and that's what you're dealing with. This is why you see people in South Africa, people in West Africa wearing yarmulkes. Show me a yarmulke in the scripture. I'll wait. And for those that don't know what a yarmulke is, we'll look this up real quick. This is a yarmulke. Let me share the screen. See. Hold on 1 second. I don't know why it's not showing. Let me see something real quick. Can you see it now? All right, that's a yarmulke. There's nowhere in the scriptures where Yah told us to put that little sauce on our head. Can you see that? Hello?
Yep, I can see it.
All right, so where's this mentioned anywhere in the scriptures? But this is Judaism, and this is why you go to, I'm just doing this all on the fly. You go look at Nigerian Jews. They're rocking the same yarmulke. Okay? Like I said, this isn't difficult to understand how Judaism got into West Africa. You see them rocking yarmulkes. Okay? Now, where did they get this from? If these people, and here's the deal, I'm not saying anybody that can go back talking about for hundreds of years, like the Limba tribe, talking about for thousands of years, they've been able to trace that they're the children of Israel. They're not, because we were cut off for 2,000 years. Or as the scriptures say, we were cut off for 2 days. Let's get that real quick. Okay. Let's see. All right. Hosea chapter 6, verse 2. And this is what it says. I'm going to start at verse 1. Come and let us return unto the Lord, for he hath torn, and he will heal us. He hath smitten, and he will bind us up. And as you can see the heading at the top, it says, YISRAEL and Yehuda are unrepentant. And we know this is exactly what's going on now. After 2 days will he revive us. In the third day he will raise us up, and we shall live in his sight. Now we know this is not talking about 2 24-hour periods, because we were not cut off and put into captivity for 48 hours. I think anybody that actually believes that is an absolute moron. So we look at the same thing here. A day with the Lord is 1,000 years. So 2,000 years. After 2 days will he revive us in the third day. And incorrectly looking at the scripture, this is where the One West camps got their year 2000 doctrine from. Okay. But after 2,000 years or 2 days, each day is worth 1,000 years with the Lord, and we'll get that if you need it, will revive us in the third day, and he will raise us up, and we shall live in his sight. So we have not been revived for over 2,000 years. Now, I ask people all the time, if you're telling me if everybody's so crystal clear that we're getting ready to go back to the land, if everybody's so adamant that we're getting ready to go back to the land, then please explain to me how we're going back to the land and we haven't been in this 2,000 year period of us not being revived, of us being in captivity, of us not knowing who we were, essentially of us being the valley of dry bone that Ezekiel talked about, of us being a nation to this very day we're still split. Okay, so we know these prophecies are in effect, and that we have been discontinued from our heritage for 2,000 years, over 2,000 years, because we haven't even been living in the land since 104 BCE. Okay. Now, so the reason I brought all of that up is because what I wanted to do, I want to show you this is called the Unger's Bible Dictionary. Okay. And this is on page 578. And if you want to get this, if you can zoom in, I can zoom in on that. You can see it. I hope so. But anyway, if you can see right up in here, I got it highlighted with my copious notes on the side of it. This is what it says. It says, under Nehemiah, the city regained much of its former glory. Alexander the Great in 332 BCE showed much favor to the Jews, exempting them in some degree from tribute. Now that's us in the land in 320 BCE. That's us. It says, because the Jews refused to fight and defend themselves on the Sabbath day, when Ptolemy Soter, that was the general, the house of the general that came from Alexander. Now, I want to show you how I'm going to link this up. It says, and defend themselves on the Sabbath day, when Ptolemy Soter attacked the city, it was captured and many of its inhabitants were removed to Africa. Now, everything we've seen in the scriptures, we're cursed. Yah uses the Gentiles, the nations, to punish us, not to reward us, not to kick us out of the land so we can go set up gold empires and have tons of riches. That's not how this works. Captivity is not good. The curses are not excellent. They're not great. You don't like the curses. They're supposed to make you, 1 Kings chapter 8, what about 4-6 verse, supposed to make you reconsider. You keep the law, statutes, commandments, precepts, orders, and judgments. Turn your face back to Yah, towards the holy city of Jerusalem. Confess your sins. Confess the sins of your fathers as well that you inherited from them. And I'm talking about you learned, like our people. Who taught you how to eat pork? Who taught you to eat catfish, shrimp? Your mama cooked it. Your daddy cooked it. Your grandmama cooked it. Chitlins and all this foolishness, right? Chicken, unclean. Honey, unclean. Who taught you to eat all these different things? Your people. That was the sins of them, and by them teaching you, they became your sins because you carried them out. Okay, you're not exempt from that because you didn't know, because you were ignorant. Okay, it says, and many of the inhabitants were removed to Africa. Okay? And it says the prosperity of the city under Antiochus the Great, 200 BC, was undone by the infamy of Antiochus Epiphanes, against whom he oppressed and revolted in 165 BCE. So I don't know if you can see that, but I'm going to try to show it to the camera. Dang it. Hopefully. I see it's kind of moving, but as you can see, you can read that. Okay? Hopefully you can see it, and you can see what page it's on. 578. Okay? So as you can see that from the Young's Bible Dictionary, that's when they took us into Africa, and it wasn't pleasant. Ptolemy Soter, the Greeks took us into Africa. They didn't take us into Africa to say you're kind and special people, and we follow Yah, so build some empires and have goods and gold. They didn't do it for that reason. Okay, we were a slave caste. We discontinued from our heritage. Just like in America, you walk to the average Negro out on the street, up and down in your inner cities, they don't know who they are. They're discontinued from their heritage. This is why the buffoons are always out there on the Shabbat when you're supposed to be in the house on the Shabbat, not outside. You can go back and look at that in the book that Moshe taught you that. You don't leave the door. You don't even go out your door on the Shabbat. So you should be outside on the damn soapbox talking, right? So when you go back and look at that, Ptolemy Soter took us and put us into Africa. Okay? Now, when you look up the word Niger in a collegiate dictionary, which I have one of those over here as well. Okay? If you look up the word, I really technically don't have to look it up, but because people can look this up themselves. But if you look up the word Niger, let's see. Okay, this is on page 1526, right above the word Niger Congo. Gotta bring the big books out on y'all boys. Hold on. Make sure I get it right. Right there near my thumb. If you can see it. Well, anyway, I'll just read it. This is what it says. It says Niger. Here we go. It says, hold on, I just missed it, just lost it. Okay, Niger. Influenced by the Latin Niger, adjective, black, dark, Negro. So the word Niger is interchangeable with the word what? Negro. Okay? And we know Niger, Africa. So we went into West Africa as a slave caste. We were not the people ruling. We were the servants that built up the empire. See, you're reading it backwards because that's what Esau loves to do. He loves to teach y'all to look at things backwards. Now, if you look on page 1527 at the word nigger, it says Negro, taken to be offensive, a member as an East Indian, a Filipino, an Egyptian, of any very dark-skinned race, used to taken to be offensive. Any of several dark-colored insects larvae, as of some ladybugs, and the dark-colored insect larvae, turnip sawfly. That's the word nigger, okay? See that? So when you look up the word nigger, Negro, taken to the offensive, a member of as an East Indian, a Filipino, an Egyptian, So when you guys go to the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary, which y'all love to quote, but you don't understand that in the Zondervan Compact Study, in the Zondervan Study Bible, it tell you the Canaanites were white. So you're being bamboozled because you're dealing with colors. Like I said, we're dealing with, to follow the people, you have to follow the conditions of a people. Okay? If my leg is broken, then I'm gonna walk with a gait, a weird gait. So if you're looking for me in a crowd of people, you don't have to look for my face. If you see people walking off, you just look for my walk. And that's what we have to do. We have to go and look at the conditions of the people. The same condition we have here in America is the same condition we had back in Mali. So while y'all love to claim Mali, Sunghay, and say, oh, the gold, no, we were cursed. Now let's go back to what Yah said in Deuteronomy 28:15. So as I'm showing you now, when you see the word Jew, many Israelites take that to mean Israel, and it does not mean Israel. It was a misnomer put in the book, and is a misnomer used by Esau. And as I read in the word Jew, in the definition, on page 1415 in the New Columbia Encyclopedia, I'll read it again. Originally descendants of Judah, because we were never called Jews because we couldn't even say that word. So we were Yehudi, right? Jew means nothing. It's English. It doesn't mean anything. That's why it's transliterated. And then it says, the fourth son of Jacob, whose tribe along with that of his half-brother Benjamin, made up the kingdom of Judah. The term later came to designate followers of the religion of Judaism. And this is why like I said, I'm going to share my screen again. This is why in West Africa right now today, you got now these could very well be our people, okay? Don't get me wrong now. They could very well be our people. But what you'll notice is that you see our people let's see. You see our people. Same thing. Wearing stars. Oh, it's the shield of David. No, it's not. That's not in any scripture. You talk to any arts antiquity dealer, they'll tell you the older something is, that's how they know it's not legit. Hold on for a second, son. Father's busy, okay? Okay. All right. So as you see these people in West Africa, they very well possibly could be Israelites and our people, but you look at them, they're the slave caste. Look up Biafra. Over 1 million of these people are dying. Okay? Now we could go into this term Bantu as well, because like I told you, the word Bantu itself, and I know I'm being long-winded, but I have to be, because we got to get this right. Okay? We got to get this right. Now, when you come down to Bantu, you go to Wikipedia, Bantu peoples. Bantu peoples is used as a general label for the 300 to 600 ethnic groups in Africa who speak Bantu languages. It is not a nationality. That's why you got 300 to 600 different ethnic groups. Okay? Now, what is an ethnic group? A community or population made of people who share a common cultural background or descent. So you got 300 to 600 different groups of people with different backgrounds and descents. That's not the same people. You can't lump all these people because they black or they look like Jakes. This is the foolishness we're dealing with. We're not Jews. So you can throw that garbage New Testament way in Revelation. I know those black those say they are Jews and are not, but a synagogue of Satan. That's garbage. That's garbage. Like I said, we're not Jews. And all the children of Israel were not Jews or never called Jews. Benjamites or Benjamin, he is not a Jew. Okay? If you want to use it from the biblical context, it's one that actually descends from the foreborn son of Yehuda. It's that simple. So I just showed you and linked how through the scriptures we were cursed. Discontinued from our heritage, Jeremiah chapter 17. Cut off and discontinued from our heritage for 2,000 years, Hosea. Then I showed you how we went through the curses in Deuteronomy 15 through 67. Everybody knows the curses. And then I showed you how Ptolemy, Soter sent Africa. And he sent us into Africa as slaves. Okay? And then I showed you how in the Unger's Bible Dictionary, it says The total Minnesota attacked the city, was captured, and many of its inhabitants were removed to Africa. Okay? That's why they took us to the west coast of Africa. And then you look up the word nigger and niger. It's interchangeable. I see the word nigger and niger, and you say Negro, and we're the Negroes. No, Negro is a classification of dark-skinned people. The Europeans don't mean it how we interpret it. We interpret Negro to mean people in Africa, African Americans. But remember, to them, Negro or Negroid is a classification system. So when you look at Negro, check this out. When you look up the term Negro, this is what you see. And y'all running around here falling for this garbage. Okay? Falling for the garbage. Don't fall for the garbage. This is what you see. Negro is an archaic term traditionally used to denote persons considered to be of Negroid heritage. The term can be construed as offensive, inoffensive, or completely neutral, largely depending on the region and where it's used. Now, you see right here his definition? Dated offensive, a member of a dark-skinned group of people originally native to Africa south of the Sahara. Now, we're not originally natives of the south of the Sahara. Do we know where the Sahara Desert is? So let's go to a map. Okay. And this is what this is what I want to show you. Let me go back up because I want to show you. Let's go to, so everybody can really see it, because I know most people don't really look at things like that. Hopefully I can show it to you on was that one? Okay, here we go. This is the Sahara Desert. You see that? You see? So it's saying Negroes are people south of this. So South Sudan, Nigeria, right? But we're from here. We're from YISRAEL, the land of Canaan, Palestine. Then we do captivities. We went through here and to over here, the Gold Coast. Who do you think they was making get the goddamn gold? Come on, let's Niger, Nigerians, niggers. You see Niger here, Nigeria underneath it. So that's you see the Sahara Desert. You see that? Sahara Desert. Let's look at it over here. You see that? You see it? The light color, Sahara. See it? Look at the deal here. Desert du Sahara. And that must be French. Okay? So once again, as you can see here, we're not Jews. We were put in that land. We were the slaves in that land, and that's why it became a great empire, because the subclass of the people are the children of Israel. Just like we made America great, just like we made Egypt great, just like we made Babylon great. You look at any captivity we go in, we make the people great. Okay? So this is not, like I said, this is not no pseudoscience. We're not Jews. I wish people get that through their head. We're not Jews. We are YISRAEL. Okay? So now, I know it was kind of long-winded, but I really want to get that point and drive that point home, because people keep making this, and you're just reading things that says, oh, see, the Jews of Balad El Sudan, the land of the blacks. Like I told you, I got news for you, buddy. Esau was black. Okay? Esau was not the first white man. Think about it. If Esau was the first white man, and we know that so-called white, and Jews invented that whole white and black thing, because that's how we never put, when you look at the book Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews, we never put blame on Jews. Notice Israelite camps hate so-called white people. They'll include the Jews in it, but they're mostly hating the people in America that they call white people, crackers, the whole nine, right? But the truth is, or pale faces, but the truth is, when they use the term white to encompass just white people, and Malcolm X ignorantly did the same thing. He said, you got German Shepherd, Chihuahua, Doberman Pinscher, whatever. They're all dogs. No, Just like we're not all, dark-skinned people are not all Israelites or all Cushites or all Mizraim or all Punt. We're not all the same. We're not all Zulu. We're not all Ndinka, right? We're not all Hulu. We're not all Tutsi. Okay, we're not all the Watusi, right? So we're not all the same. Neither are they all the same. So what they did was this term white, we collectively mixed them in and they were able to hide. But remember what Yah said in Obadiah chapter 1, verse 8. He says what? I shall make thee what? Small amongst what? The heathen. So this is what he says. Obadiah 1 and 2. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. The Nazis hate Jews. Europeans hate Jews. People in Britain that are not of Jewish descent or Amalekite, Edomite descent hate Jews. The Muslims hate Jews. The Iranians hate Jews, or whatever. You see it, okay? They hate Jews. Now you look at people getting kicked out of Spain. You sit there and say, oh, these are Israelites getting kicked out of Spain. No, you don't kick out your slave caste. Why do you think America hasn't kicked us out? We're the cheap labor. You think Becky and Logan are going to go out there and work work these menial jobs? You have to have a slave caste system. You don't kick that out. Once you kick that out, the quality of living has to go up. The cost of living has to go up. Wages have to be paid higher because the people that are not supposedly slaves, right? So as you see here, this is what it says, that we are greatly despised among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. Okay? They are greatly despised. So now, Hitler hated them. The Nazi program, like I said, Nazi program hated them. Now so-called African Americans hate them because we know what they did now. The Muslims hate them. Everybody hates them. Now it says they were great, they were small amongst the heathen, right? Now this is the last thing I'm going to show, and I'm going to let you go into it because I don't want to BOGO at the whole deal, but I have to get this whole Jew thing out of the way. Because once we start looking at things based on who the people are, and we put ourselves in a proper context in history, we're slaves. We weren't kicked out of the land to go be prosperous. That is foolish. Deuteronomy 28, 17 through 67 does not teach that. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say you'll get kicked out of the land and then you'll go be very prosperous in your own empires. And I'm not talking about people like Michael Jordan and Oprah Winfrey that can play a ball or dribble a damn ball and make some millions of dollars or sell some damn tennis shoes and make become a billionaire. That is not the collective whole. Remember not too long ago when Oprah Winfrey, the billionaire, went to their store and they didn't want to service her? Remember Danny Glover trying to catch a cab in New York City, multi-millionaire? They didn't want to service him. Okay? Like I said, we're the slave caste system. No matter how much, people say all the time, no matter how much money you got, you're still a nigga. If you're in a beamer, you're a nigga in a beamer. Okay? So we keep looking at this financial thing, trying to get finances the whole nine. So now, Obadiah said you're small amongst the heathen. Check this out. And I'm going to show you how they consistently remain small. The Jewish population. It says with just over 6.5 million Jews, Israel is the only Jewish majority and explicitly Jewish state. The Jewish population figures for the United States are contested, ranging between 5.7 and 6.8. The core global total of Jews jumps above 15 million if the highest American estimates are assumed. So, listen, if everything pans out, it's only and this is what it says. It says the world's core Jewish population was estimated at 14.41 million in 2016. Demographer Sergio Della Pergola proposed an extended Jewish population, including people identifying as partly Jewish and non-Jews with Jewish parents, numbering 17.3 million globally, and an enlarged Jewish population figure that also includes non-Jewish members of Jewish households, totaling 20.2. See how they just start saying you ain't even Jewish, but you gotta, let's say you was let's say they adopted you or something like that. It says, in addition to the total number of people who hold Israeli citizenship under the law of return, defined as anyone with at least one Jewish grandparent and who does not profess any other religion, watch what it says, it's estimated at around 23 million, of which 6.6 million are living in Israel as of 2015. That's small amongst it. It's more, listen, we've aborted, they've been killing us, they've been poisoning us, putting manganese, they're putting fluoride in the water, they've been police brutality, they've been raping and robbing and lynching us, they've been performing abortions on us, and we still outnumber the Jews here in just America. I'm not talking about the brothers and sisters of Israel in Brazil. I'm talking about just in the United States of America. The daughter of Babylon. Esau is the heathen. Okay? Esau is small amongst the heathen. And it'll show you here, if you go and look at it, it'll show you how many living in Mexico, how many this or how many that, or whatever case may be. And then they tell you the beta United States numbers. They don't even think it's that high. Okay? So as you can see, population, the world is 14,200. And in large, it says 20 million. See that? Israel is 6.399. United States is 5,300,000 to 7 million, right? And it says in law 182. In France, small amongst the heathen, 600,000. In Canada, 550,000. In United Kingdom, 370,000. In Russia, 500,000. In Argentina, 1,000. Right? 250,000. Australia, 135,000. Small, and these are the heathen nations I'm mentioning. Canada, France, United States. These are all heathen nations. Brazil, South Africa, Ukraine. In South Africa, it's 80,000 to 92,000. In Brazil, it's 150,000 and 35,000. In the Ukraine, it's 40,000. Hungary, 150,000. Mexico, 50,000 to 67,476. Spain, 50,000. Belgium, 40,000. Netherlands, 45. Small amongst the heathen. Now, if you go to the Netherlands, arbitrarily, it's 45,000 Jews there, right? But if you go to the Netherlands and you click on the Netherlands, right, it says total population 30. So they're very small amongst the heathens, right? So this is easy to understand. We're not Jews. That's Esau, small amongst the heathen. That's why he's getting kicked out everywhere, because they're small amongst the heathen, but they run the diamond district. They run the entertainment, the printing press, Gutenberg, right? Okay? They run all of this street, all the debauchery and satanic adversarial things you can think of. These people run it. Now, this is just what it is. We're not Jews. And they'll tell you we're not Jews, but you get to argue with them thinking they stole your identity. No, they stole your culture, and they didn't even do that right, because they're into the Talmud more than the Torah. Because one of the commandments in the 10 is what? Thou shalt not bear false witness, and they lie saying they're the children of Israel. So they don't even keep the Torah, okay? Collectively, they do not. And then in the gay parades in Tel Aviv, right? How many secular people are there? When Yah said he would put the law in their inward parts, and they would all know the law, and none would say know the law, because everybody would know it, know the law and the Lord, YHWH. So we're not Jews. When you look at Jews of Balad El, Sudan, that's not talking about us. We discontinued from our heritage. We didn't know who the hell we were. And that goes into Arayah line, talking about the elders, Abba Bibbins and all those guys learned from slaves that they was the children of Israel. We discontinued from our heritage. How the hell they learn it? How they learn that? Remember, as Daniel said, now the last thing I'm going to show you, the book of Daniel, chapter 11. This is what Daniel says. And this is why I tell people the King James Version, yes, it has been tampered with, but it is the best version to read, because this book is near everyone, translated in over 2,000 plus translations. And Yah said that his word had to go throughout the ends of the earth. Okay? The Septuagint is not going throughout the end of the earth. Tell you what, go in your family. I bet you can't find 5 people in your family that use the Septuagint. Okay? Daniel chapter 11, verse 14. And in those times, there shall many stand up against the king of the south, right? We're dealing with who? Egypt. It says, and it shows you right there in the Geb or southern district of Judah, occasionally Egypt, as south of Palestine. That's Egypt. That's Ptolemy, right? Also, the robbers of thy people shall exalt themselves to establish division, but they shall fall. Thy people shall exalt themselves to establish division. Now, what people robbed us, hated us? When you go to Psalm 68, Let me go back there one more time. I know I keep saying, but I'm just trying to drive this point home. And we have to stay on a little longer. Ain't no problem. Let me go to Psalms. Hold on one second. Let me go to Psalm 68 real quick. I mean, not Psalm. I'm trying to go, not Psalm 68. Okay, let's see. Check this out. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to share this with you. You can throw those apocryphals away too. Okay, so let's go to Psalms 83. And what I want to do is I want to share that verse real quick so I can show you something. And I yield and let you go into what you want. But I just got to drive this point home because we'll get nowhere fast talking about okay, it says, this is what it says. It says, verse 2, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult. They that hate thee have lifted up the head. Esau, the Jews hate Yah. They don't love Yah. Okay, they don't keep the law, statutes, commandments, precepts, ordinance, and judgment. They're liars. They have stolen our identity and heritage. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. See, that's crafty counsel. You run around calling yourself the Jew. That's very crafty because they threw that out there. You talking about the white man is evil because they threw that out there. And you see this space in between these words. That's white. I ain't never seen nobody like that. And if you see somebody like that, you need to kill it. That's an abomination. Verse 4, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of YISRAEL may be no more in remembrance. They don't call themselves Israel. They call themselves Israeli. They don't want to tie us back to the land. That we be no more in remembrance. We don't remember. Now, hold on. Now, if the Edomites, and I'm going to show you who came together and did this, they came to cut us off from being a nation. Why do y'all keep telling me we in Shanghai, we in Mali, if these people taking crafty counsel against us, as David told you was going to happen? Verse 5. For they have consulted together with one consent, they are confederate against thee. The first person listed is the tabernacles of Edom. You see that? The tabernacles of Edom. All these people, led by Edom first, that hate Yah. The tabernacles of Edom. Okay? So they're small amongst the heathen. Edom is small amongst the heathen. The Jews are small amongst the heathen. I prove that. We're not Jews. It's a misnomer to get you off track thinking you're looking for anything. And when you go research and you type in the word Jews, oh, that's us over there. That's not you. You were cut off and discontinued from your heritage. And see, by doing that, by not having you understand you're cut off and discontinued from your heritage, now the Jews can sneak right on in, because when you ask them if they've been discontinued from their heritage, they'll say no. Or they'll say, yeah, back in some time they tried to do this to us, or they'll give some bull crap excuse. Because they're doing all of this crafty counsel. Okay, we go back up. Crafty counsel, Hebrew 6191, Aram. Only to derive sense through the idea of perhaps a smoothness, to be cunning, usually in a bad sense. Very, beware, take crafty, be prudent, deal subtly, just like the snake in the garden, which wasn't a real snake. So with that, I yield. We're not Jews. We got to get that through our head, and we got to get that through our head. There's no such thing as white people and black people. As you just said, when you go to Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary, not the Negroes. Ham, right? Page 286. Perhaps hot. I remember the definition damn near by heart. I don't even have to look it up no more. Right? It says, found of the dark-skinned races, not what? The Negroes. But then when you go and look up the word Negro, it tells you Negroes are what? I just gave it to you in the encyclopedia. I mean, in a dictionary, that the word Negro is Egyptians, but they say they're not the Egyptians. So when you look in this dictionary, Webster Third New International Dictionary, and see, like I said, the older, the thicker, the better. No homo. The better. You get the old stuff. Go to these thrift stores. That's why y'all did it. Go to these thrift stores. These Europeans and stuff are getting rid of stuff they don't even know what they're getting rid of. Go to these thrift stores, these thrift bookstores, and I bought this thing here, man. I bought this thing for $9. Okay? New Columbia Encyclopedia. Okay? See, I think that is dealing with anything you want to know. Yiddish, anything dealing with history, religion. It's all in here. And the older the edition, the better. $7. Unger's Bible Dictionary. Matter of fact, I got 2 versions of it. Where's my other version? And that's how you know that they're trying to pull the okie doke on us, because I got, let me see if I can find it. I had got the yellow version, and the yellow version don't have half the information in here that this one has. But that's why I bought it, because I used to be a store manager at one of the #1 world largest bookstore chains in the world. And I know that when you start seeing these additions and revisions and stuff, they're taking stuff out. Just like I got a copy of the 13 Tribe by Arthur Koestler. The version I have, I guarantee you guys don't have it. You see, they're taking things out. That's how we know Yah has to come back and save us now. Because if we go another 2, 5, 6, 7, 10 years, this stuff is going to be lost. They're taking this stuff out. We won't be able to find it. That's how we know Yah is coming back to save us. So like I said, look at this. And this isn't even the earliest. Okay? The 13th printing was the first printing was in 1957. What are they doing? Why are they reprinting it? And listen, it didn't stop selling. Why? Because I know how the book business works. Esau gives the bookstores credit. They take the books back, keep the books, the good copies, put a redaction out, take the redactions and edits, put a revision out there and say, hey, sell this one with a better looking cover or something like that. Paperback. It'll be cheaper. And the bookstores jump on it, don't even know the people are selling, they're taking information out of the doggone book. Like I said, it's just that easy. So with that being the case, I'll yield. I know it was long-winded, but I have to go. And like I said, if that's anybody that want to debate this topic, this goes for all the camps, GMS, ISUPK, IUIC, GOCC. If you want to get the word on dealing with this Jew word, listen, man, I can turn this doggone computer around right now and show you I got more books than y'all got people in y'all camps combined. So I got the information. I got the work. And this is off the dome, just me remembering certain things. I can go and get this stuff, man. Old Bibles, all kinds of stuff to show you that Apocrypha is garbage. You know, Great Millstone, me and you went through that Apocrypha, and I showed you that the work is fake. It's fake. The people in the first century, the early so-called church fathers, Eusebius, Origen, black people, they didn't even, they taught that it was garbage. Am I right? So with that, I yield. Go ahead, brother.
All right. Well, before we go into tonight's topic, I want to say 2 things. Now, Brother Zeki said something interesting. He said you don't kick out your working class. Well, if you do a little bit of research, you know that Trump is trying to get rid of the Mexicans right now, and I don't think there's any. I think they epitomize working class. Can you hear me, brother?
Go ahead. But hold on.
So I think the Mexicans epitomize being working class. I mean, when I was in high school, I worked at McDonald's, and I worked with some Hispanics, and they didn't even speak English in the kitchen. So I think the Hispanic people epitomize the working class, especially the Mexicans. So I don't see where he's kind of putting that together. Go ahead, brother.
Now, in regards to them with the working class, let me explain something to you. There are so many people. Now, I'm just going to talk of it. Listen, we're going to talk like the Europeans talk, okay? When we say we know that this land was taken from those people, etc., you agree with that, right? The Mexicans, so-called Mexicans, Aztecs, you know, it was taken from those people, right? And they're not Israelites, by the way, okay? The land, now amongst them, there are Israelites amongst them. But when we start talking about Native American Indians or Gad, and we start talking about Issachar, the Mexicans, negative, okay? Black man and one black man and 4 black women, okay? There are not going to be that many varying degrees of how we look, okay? You feel me? Like me, the only reason I don't look like a slave is because I'm not a slave. The only reason I don't have tons of wrinkles in my face at the age of 36 is because I'm not in the sun working all day. The only reason I don't have whip marks all over my back is because I'm not being beaten. You put me through the same conditions, you can't distinguish me from a slave. You see them rocking the beards. They're not getting haircuts. They couldn't really afford that, right? nappy hair, right? They were fit, physically fit, in shape. Like I said, we're the children of the sun, we're the children of the slave trade. That's who we are. That's who we are. So when you talk about the working class, the Mexicans are not the working class. This is why Trump wants to get rid of the Mexicans. And I'm just going to keep it real with you. Listen, I don't hate Mexicans, okay? I don't really hate anybody. I don't even really hate Esau per se, even though I'm Edom Slayer. I don't really hate Esau per se because now I have a better understanding and I understand what happened. We messed up. And Yah promised us he was going to put the nations on us and the sword on us, which is Esau, Genesis chapter 27:40, for being disobedient. So that's my fault, my family fault. I'm a man. Right? You don't sit there and complain. Oh, he hit me too hard or he shot me in the leg. No, you killed. You know you're in a war. So the working class is the children of YISRAEL. We're the working class, brother. These Mexicans, and I'm not trying to knock all of them. And when remember, I'm generalizing, okay? So anybody that if you're Mexican, don't be offended, okay? I can't possibly know every Mexican and what you're doing, right? So let's use a little common sense. So the Mexicans, which some of them may be us, depending on how our people made it, made it, whatever case may be. But I'm talking about Mexicans, Vato. I'm talking about them in a general sense. They're not the working class. A lot of them come to the country illegally. They don't pay taxes. So Esau doesn't put the burden on them, pay them low wages, then steal money out of their check stubs. On the construction sites, a lot of them are paid under the table. In the restaurants, a lot of them are paid under the table. A lot of them don't have green cards. And I'm in Louisiana. Now we're talking about way over in Louisiana, because I've been managing of a business where I've seen people come in and say, "Hey man, this crew we contracted to work in my store, the Mexicans working there didn't have the green cards and stuff, and they was deported." Okay, I didn't know, and to be honest with you, had I known, I wouldn't have told on them. People trying to make a better living for themselves. I'm not like I said, I'm not an American. I know what America has done to me and my forefathers. Okay, so I don't give a damn how with this government talking about trying to tax people, but that's neither here nor there. But we're the working class because all of us that have jobs, we're taxed. We're paid low wages. Let's say I gave you $50 a day, right? And you work 5 days a week. Okay, that's $250 a week. That's very low pay. $250 a week, right? So that's $1,000 a month. You can't survive anywhere on $1,000 a month. That's very low pay. Okay, you can't pay room, rent or mortgage or anything like that, car note, car insurance, children and food and all that on $1,000 a month. So they put us in these poor menial jobs. Then on top of that, they tax us, right? And they snatch the money back because we all have Social Security cards. We're all so-called citizens here in America. You see what I'm saying? But the Mexicans are not. When a lot of them, not all of them, but when a lot of them come across the border, they are getting and working for free for cash under the table. Okay, so that's hurting Esau's system. This is what y'all talk about, these microchips, and that's why your bank cards got chips and stuff like that, because you're not opening bank accounts without 2 forms of ID. And these people under the table, that's why Mexicans, most time you go in the stores, they pay in cash. I'm just gonna keep 100. They pay in cash. And I'm not saying anything's wrong with that, but I'm saying there's a motive behind why they're doing that. You feel me? So what I'm saying is we're the working class. The Mexicans are not, because a lot of them are, citizens, but a lot of them aren't. Almost every Negro, every Negro is a citizen, okay? And every Negro in some form or fashion is being taxed. And if you have a child and you don't pay child support, the Negro is taxed. If an illegal, let's say an immigrant Mexican comes in, gets another Mexican woman pregnant, he's not on the books. They can't charge him child support, but they can the children of Israel. So they're hitting us in every way. Then they put these corner stores in the hood. You can't even buy, don't even sell real food. They sell cereal, the stuff that's high. That's right there in Deuteronomy. He shall lend to thee, but you shall not lend to him. Basically works on the table for free. You feel me? So and then listen, if you come from another country, if you come through correctly, you don't even pay taxes. You get 7-year tax breaks. We don't get tax breaks. We're the bottom, so they're not going to kick us out. What Trump is saying is that, hey, look, I can keep the Negroes happy, and even the poor whites happy if the Mexicans that are coming over here legally, because remember, he's not kicking out Mexicans. He's kicking out Mexicans that don't have the documentation. We got to be very careful on what we're saying. So that's what he's kicking out. And like I said, those people are trying to come in for a better life. I'm all for it. It is what it is. But the daughter of Babylon ain't shit. I'm just keeping it 100. It ain't about nothing. Okay? So that's what I mean by the working class. Okay? You got me? That's the working class.
Okay. Well, before we get into tonight's topic, we've been all over the place. I want to say one more thing concerning this whole Bantu argument, and then we're going to get into tonight's topic. Right. Okay. So I left a link, brother. I'm going to read it. You should see the link in the chat room where it says Kafir. I'll read that, dealing with this whole Bantu issue. Then we're going to deal with tonight's topic, actually.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, so if you can see that, yeah, I see it. So it says, hopefully you guys can hear me good. It says Kafir, right? I'm sorry. Yeah, it went out.
Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, if you don't mind, brother.
Okay, it says kafir, racial term. Kafir, alternatively kafir, originally kafri, is an ethnic slur used to refer to a black person. And they would have term black again, right? In the form of kafri, it evolved during the medieval era as a non-derogatory equivalent of Negro. See, so early on in medieval times, it was a non-derogatory term, just like the word Negro. In Southern Africa, the term was later used as a neutral exonym for Bantu peoples. Now, remember, when you click on Bantu peoples, it says it's a designation applied to 300 to 600 different ethnic groups. Now, hold on 1 second before we go there. I just want to show you something real quick. Yes, that's fine, and I'll read it. I'll continue reading, no big deal. You see that? It says Bantu peoples. I just clicked on the same link. It's used as a general label for the 300 to 600 ethnic groups in Africa who speak Bantu languages. Now, remember, when I look at the term ethnic groups, it says what? Different cultures. So that's 300 to 600 different places, people. Because remember, the word Bantu is a general what? It says general what? Label. It's used as a general label. It's not a people. It's not a nationality. There's no nation called Bantu. So now let me go back and I'll continue reading. It says, to be considered a pejorative by the 20th century. In South Africa, the word was usually used.
Hold on, you gotta read that, brother. Scroll down.
Okay. You want me to go to etymology, or where you want to go to? You want me to go to the etymology or what?
Yeah, right there.
Or it says the word kafir is the active participle of the Semitic root to cover, and as a Semitic root as a farmer's burying seeds in the ground. So before Islam, the gutter religion, the dangerous religion came by the sword, it described farmers burying seeds in the ground. That's what farmers do while planting. Thus, the word kafir implies the meaning of a person who hides or covers. In Islamic parlance, a kafir is a person who rejects Islamic faith, i.e., hides or covers the truth. See how they switch that? Kafir is derived from the Arabic word kafir that is usually translated to English as non-believer, i.e., a non-Muslim. The word was originally applied to non-Muslims in general. They go for white people too, so-called white people, and therefore to non-Muslim black peoples encountered along the Swahili coast by Arab traders. The Portuguese nation who arrived on the East African coast in 1498 encountered the usage of the term by the coastal Arabs, but not the Swahili who used the term Washinzi, meaning uncivilized, to describe the non-Islamic people of the African interior. The poet Camus used the plural form of the term canto of his 1572 poem As Luciadas. This interpretation was probably passed on to other Europeans in succession. The Spanish, English, Dutch, and French. From the Portuguese, the term was passed on to their Asian possessions and exists in several Asian languages, including Konkani in India.
Okay. So yeah, so if you go back down, it's clear that the Arabs were slave trading. For those who say the slave trade was not an Islamic affair, I mean, I think it's clear. And if we keep reading down, it says, the 17th century to the early 20th century.
I got you. It says
that's what I saw on that. That's on that, brother. So yeah. So let me ask before we go to tonight's topic, which we're about to get into right now. Do you think the slave trade was an Islamic affair, brother? What do you think about that?
Well, I don't think. Well, let's be specific. Which slave trade?
Well, we know there was the sub-Saharan, and you had the transatlantic. I'm talking about the transatlantic.
Okay. Yes, they were a part of the transatlantic slave trade. Because remember, when you go to the book of Psalms 83, it tells you Edom, the Jews, the people we call Jews today, and then the next one is the Ishmaelites. Okay, those are those Arabs. Then the Moabites and the Hagarenes, right? The Arabian clan. See that? See that? Hagarene. I'm sharing it. It says Hagari. It says a Hagarite or a member of a certain Arabian clan. These are the Arabs. So you got Ishmaelites, Arabs, Moabites, and Edomites. They all had a part. And just like today, we see the Jews were doing what? They was the captains of the slave ships, right? Right? So I'm gonna type in. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna type in. Hold on, and I'm gonna answer your question real quick. Jewish slave dealers, right? See that? Slavery and the Jews, the Atlantic. It says, ironically, Jews were therefore able to make major investments in. So let's click what they were able to make investments in. Remember, like I told you, now you're not gonna sit here and tell me that's us when you see the word Jew, because it's never been us. It says, almost as soon as it appeared, in 1991, the secret relationship generated a controversy that centered more of its intentions than its scholarship. The noise level was heightened in 1993 by the turmoil that swirled around Professor Tony Martin of Wellesley College, a tenured professor in Wellesley Department of Africana Studies. Martin assigned to one of his classes portions of the book which singles out Jews for special prominence in the Atlantic slave trade and for having played a particular prominent role in the enslavement of Africans, i.e. YISRAEL, in the Americas. He was accused of anti-Semitism and wrote a brief book to refute the charges, right? And the title of Martin's book, The Jewish Onslaught, right? Dispatches from the Wellesley Battlefront, Wellesley Battlefront. Okay, so I just want to show that how the Jews were doing it. Now check this out. Let's see. Now I'm going to click on here. The link says Slavery, Atlantic Trade, and Arab Slavery. Now I know this is going to be just a black site, but you can pretty much get, I can get the actual history of it. You see that originalpeople.org and stuff like that. But as you can see, so you asked me whether Arabs are part, and so were the Jews. Everybody mentioned in Psalms 83 right there. Okay, if you see here, that's that gate of no return, right? It says it is estimated that about 14 million Africans were enslaved by Arabs over a period of 1,300 years. It is time to note what they did. So not only do we know Arabs were part of it, they're still doing it today in the Sudan. Okay, some of our people are there as well. So now we just showed that the Jews were involved, had a hand in our slavery. They dealt craftily with us, called us Africans, right? Named us out the Leo Scipio Africanus or Africanus, right? And then they show you right here that the Arabs sold 14 million Africans. Now you know some of those got to be Israelites, right? And they're still doing it to this very same day, right? So now we know for a fact that yes, undoubtedly the Arabs had nobody off the hook. They all did it to us. Go ahead, brother.
All right, so we have 5 minutes left, and this is the perfect time to deal with tonight's topic. How is Israel returning back to the land? will it be the nations of the UFOs? And I want to say one thing. Brother Zeki believes that in 104 BCE, Hosea 6:2 says that Israel will be cut off for 2 days. 2 days, 2 days in the eyes of the Lord is 2,000 years. So he said we got cut off. The Israelites got cut off in 104 BCE and woke back up. Colloquially speaking, woke back up in 1896 under a black slave named William S. Crawley, who came and told the African Americans that they were the true Israelites, that they were Jews. So he's claiming that, according to what he studied with this elder from Yah Righteousness in the house of Yah, that Israel's going to be returning from exile this April 30th. Now, if you don't know, today is March the 11th, 2018. He claims that the Israelites are going to be brought back together as a nation, the northern and southern kingdom, and are going to be reestablished in Israel this coming April the 30th. So the question is, how is Israel coming back, brother? Are they going back through the UFOs, or the nation's going to send us back?
Okay, so let me clarify another thing as well. First and foremost, I think about April 30th. So that was very misdirecting of you saying that, but I digress. We'll go through this as well. So now, first thing, I'm going to share my screen. Check this out. Not me saying it. I don't believe anything. I substantiate and prove. So let's deal with this. I'm going to share my screen real quick. As you can see here on my screen, William Saunders Crowdy, August 11, 1847 to August 4th, 1908, was an American soldier. What's up, there? I'll be in a second. Preacher, entrepreneur, theologian, and pastor. As one of the earliest Hebrew Israelites in the United States, he established the Church of God and Saints of Christ in 1896. So I don't believe anything. That's what the history shows us. In 1896, he was one of the earliest. Really, he was the actual first, not one of the earliest. He was the first. Okay, in 1896. Now, it's not very difficult. I'll show you and prove to you that what I'm saying is correct. So what I'm going to have to do, remember that 1896, William Saunders Crowdy, okay? See him? So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to jump back over. I'm going to jump right back on over. Let me stop sharing this screen real quick. And I'm going to jump right back into the New Columbia Encyclopedia. I'm going to show you how those Jews know who we were. And I'm going to show you how I know that 1896 was when we first started, not before that. When a black, so-called black man on this side of the planet started sending with the children of Israel, because the prophecy of 2,000 years had ended. So when you go from 1896 and you go back 2,000 years, you end up in 104 BCE. Math doesn't lie, okay? So you pull out your calculators. 1896 plus 104 is 2,000. Yah is very accurate with what he does. But let me show you in the New Encyclopedia, okay, under the subtitle, Jew. I'm going to go back there again, and I'm going to show you something. Okay, this is on page 1415. Let me see if I can get a highlighter. Let's see if I got a highlighter in my office here, so we can go and break this down and get a clear understanding of this, or whatever case may be, or as clear as Yah will allow and profound allow people to see it. Now, well, I couldn't find a highlighter. I know I have one in my office there somewhere, but I know I got one in front, but I don't want to leave. But anyway, on page 1415, at the bottom down here in the middle section, you'll see it says the gradual emancipation of the Jews. Okay, I don't know if you can see it right there by my thumb, right there. I'm going to read this to you. Now, remember, William Saunders Crowdy came on the scene in 1896. The Jews have always been watching us because they know the prophecies that Yah's going to wake us up after 2 days. They know what Hosea said. The Negroes don't know how significant this stuff is because the Negroes really don't understand Yah's way. But it doesn't matter. Yah's way is going to prevail. So it says, the gradual emancipation of the Jews brought forth two opposing cultural assimilation, first propounded by Moses Mendelssohn, and Zionism, founded by the Theodor Herzl movement in 1896. In 1896, William Sumner Crotty started teaching that the so-called Negroes and African Americans were the children of Israel. The very same year, and going into the next year, what did the Jews do? They came up with the Theodor Herzl movement to combat and show that they were Israel. Now you can go in some places and see that they started calling themselves Israelites and Israelis and Hebrews in 1896. Because since we woke up, they had to steal the thunder back from us again. Let you know those Jews are Edomites. So people sit there and say, well, you know, whatever case may be, but documentation. Okay? It's not what I believe. It's what you can substantiate and prove. 1896, William Sumner Crotty comes on the scene and says, you Negroes in America, African Americans, are the children of God. You're the children of Israel. At the very end of that year, going into the next year, the Jews started the Theodor Herzl movement. And if you look it up, so I'm going to click on it right here. And this is on encyclopediabritannica.com. I'm going to share my screen real quick. Okay. The application window. Boom. Boom. And let's go here. As you can see, this is Encyclopedia Britannica. And this is what it says. Theodor Herzl, born May 2nd, 1860 in Budapest, Hungary, Austrian Empire, now in Hungary, died July 3rd, 1904 in Edlock, Austria, founder of the political form of Zionism. This is when Zionism came on the scene the very same year that we woke up, that we were the children of Israel. But y'all want to play games because you're not doing the research. It says, a movement established to establish a Jewish homeland. See, they went in the land of Israel. And you can go look at the Balfour Declaration and how they got with the British and got the land. They was gonna back the Germans at first, and Hitler didn't want to give it to them. So then they went in with the British, and they said, well, Britain was like, well, we can't give you something that ain't ours. He said, if you sign this and you give it to us, I get America in the war. And that's how the Jews got America in the war. Okay. It says his pamphlet, The Jewish State, 1896, proposed that the Jewish question was a political question to be settled by a World Council of Nations. He organized a World Congress of Zionists that met in Basel, Switzerland in 1897, like I told you, in the next following year, and became the first president of the World Zionist Organization established by the Congress. Although Herzl died more than 40 years before the establishment of the State of Israel, he was an indefatigable organizer, propagandist, and a diplomat who had much to do with making Zionism into a political movement of world significance. See, y'all can play these games if you want to, but this man right here, this bastard right here, know who we are. And the same year we over here, they keeping tabs on us, start saying we the children of Israel. Boom. They start jumping on it. The next year, they got Zionism. And that's what you're dealing with today, Zionism. So that's that, okay? Now, you ask me how we're going to get back. The term UFO, the term spaceship is not in the Bible. There's not one scripture, chapter, or verse in the Bible that says that the children of Israel collectively are going to get on some apparatus and fly into the sky. Now, if you think it is, you can show it to me. I want you to show it to me because I've read the book up and down, left, right, north, south, east, and west, and I hadn't seen that. So if you can show me that, I want you to pull that. But I know you can't. So I'm being, it's a rhetorical question. So now, when we go to the book of Yeshaya to prove this, how we're getting back, because Negroes don't know the power of Yah, right? So when we go back to the book of Yeshaya, okay, Let's see. Let me see. Let's go to, I think it's 60. Yeshaya chapter 60. And you see the heading up here. I think it says the future glory of Israel. The future glory, meaning it hadn't happened at that time, and it still hadn't happened. Right? Verse 3, and the Gentiles shall come to thy light, and the kings to the brightness of thy rising. That hadn't happened. Okay? So let's go on to get into this. It says, verse 8, who are these that fly as a cloud, and as the doves to their windows? Surely the isles. Now, let me go back here. First off, the One West camps and all those like GMS and the rest of them, they teach us talking about UFOs. The word UFO is not here in this book at all. But it should be easy to understand. Who are these that fly as a cloud? Because who are these is the children of Israel flying the cloud and the dove to their windows. Because you're dealing with us going back to the land, because that's what this is talking about. Verse 9, surely the isle shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish is Spain, first to bring thy sons from far. To bring our sons from far. And to bring thy sons from far, their silver and their gold with them, unto the name of Yah, thy strong one, and to the Holy One of Israel, because he hath glorified thee. Verse 10, once they bring us back, Spain is going to start sending us back first. We just waiting on Esau to get ran up out of the land. That's all we waiting on. We waiting on Obadiah 1:18 to be fulfilled, and it has not been fulfilled. Esau is still here with us today. I just showed you how Edom, and we can go into Jewish encyclopedias and prove that. Edom is not gone. Okay. Verse 10, and the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their king shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. Show me one place where the king and the sons of strangers build up our walls. You can't go back. This ain't talking about Solomon's temple when Hiram and the Canaan and the Tyrenians helped us, because this book of Isaiah is well after that. Solomon came on the scene 960 BCE. Isaiah is an 8th century prophet, meaning the 700s. So that's not, you're not going to pull that fast one on me. Okay. Then verse 11 says, therefore thy gates shall be open continually, and they shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto kings may be brought. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yea, those nations shall be laid utterly waste. The glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee. That's the tree, the fir tree, the pine tree, and the box together to beautify the place of my sanctuary, because we got to go back and rebuild that temple. And I will make the place of my feet glorious, because the temple is the place where Yah puts his footstool and reigns out of what? The Jerusalem. Verse 14, the sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee. This has not happened. And all they that despise thee shall bow down at the soles of thy feet, and they shall call thee the city of Yah, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel. Whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated, so that no man went through thee, meaning nobody wanted Jerusalem. We were hated and forsaken. You see, we just went through this whole thing, but we were pushing to Africa and Mali and America and all these. We built cities of Pithom and Ramesses. We built every time, and we're creating a class. But that's what a slave is: hewers of wood and drawers of water. It says, I will make thee an eternal excellency, a joy of many generations. Thou shalt also soak the milk of the Gentiles, and shalt soak the breast of kings. Now, we're not homosexuals. What that's saying is the kings and their sustenance, these other people, because they're not Edomites. So if you want to be generic, the so-called,
hey brother, you're breaking up a little bit, brother.
Because Edom is going to be destroyed. It's going to be is the children, as the scripture so eloquently play. Lead thy widows and children unto me. Okay, so it says, we shall suck the milk of the Gentiles and shall suck the breast of kings, and thou shalt know that I, the strong one, Yah, am thy savior and thy redeemer, the mighty one of Yaakov, not three, not a holy trinity, not three that bear witness in heaven. And you look up that word Lord 3068, that's talking about the creator, the self-existent one, not Jesus. So we'll know that Jesus is our savior. I am thy savior. I, the Lord, I, Yah, am thy savior and thy redeemer, the mighty one of Yaakov. So that's how we're going back. The ships of Spain are going to send us back first when Esau get ran out of the land, and the nations are going to pay. Why? Because we've already sent the flies out to the nations. The nations already know what time it is. Why do you now remember? If you go back and look at the nations thinking that we didn't get from Ben Ami and those guys because they're in idolatry. Some information we didn't get. We didn't know exactly the time frame, and that's what this prophecy is dealing with. This keep us in copious notes and meticulous records, off by a year. Okay, so with us having it off by a year, hold on one second. I'm gonna finish this here. Okay, so it says so okay, I lost my train of thought. My wife came in and gave me a note. Okay, so I think I was okay.
Yeah, can you hear me, brother?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you were talking about the April 30th prophecy. Now,
Okay, yeah.
from the house of Yah, go ahead, brother. Talk about the April 30th prophecy.
The time frame was off, and we originally thought, looking at some of the texts and some of the clues and some of the things, and when the Sodom and her daughters or Demona movement went back into the land, linking up with these dates and these prophecies, which can be very tedious. We may have to do this in an actual whole video to break it down, but we had narrowed it down to 2016, 2017, the time frame of us going back, typically around 2016. But there's a book you can look at. Check this out. Okay. It's the book People, okay? And you can get this book in Exodus of African Americans back to the land of Israel. You guys can see that. But in that book, once we got that impregnable people, it gave us, and we actually saw that the date was off. If you guys don't know, one of my elders have actually sent letters to the Queen of England and all the monarchs, right? And that's why when you go back to around this time frame, you saw the Queen of England say this here. Check this out. This is what I want you guys to look at. And December 24, 2016, the same time we was running around saying that, Queen Elizabeth says what? Enjoy your final Christmas. So I'm going to play this real quick. Hopefully this may be the video. I'm not sure. I have never watched this video. I'm just seeing if that's what it is. Okay. Let's see.
Just spreading the real and letting you know. Queen says this will be our final Christmas right after the Pope. The Queen dropped a bombshell yesterday while filming her annual Christmas message for the BBC, hinting at deep personal regrets over the murder of Princess Diana, a BBC insider claims. Clearly troubled, the Queen said she knew too much. The Queen asked her subjects to understand that the royal family simply did what was necessary to ensure their own survival.
So the Queen says, enjoy your final Christmas. I want to find the actual people. A lot of people may have not even heard this or whatever, right? Check this out. It says here, your news wire. Queen's 2015 Christmas, enjoy your final Christmas. Senior BBC production staff and palace advisors scrambled to cancel the tape, but not before the Queen expressed dark fears that this will be the last Christmas on Earth because malevolent forces much stronger than her are stalking across Europe, gaining ground every day. I hope you enjoy your final Christmas. This is what she said. Now, which this was the same time we were talking about going into the next year, 2017, when the prophecy was going to supposedly take place. Now, this is how we see things in the book. Now, as opposed to, remember, that's the difference. You'll never hear me call myself a prophet. You'll never hear other people call themselves prophets. We're not prophets. We're the children of the prophets. I'm not GMS. I'm not Nathaniel 7. Okay, this is something we've seen. So we're going to bring it out. It's already been out. A lot of people know about it. There's a lot of people don't read, right? So the queen, when we put that into circulation, then because we had the dates wrong, because the book, The Impregnable People, actually gave us the right date. So now we're looking at a much closer date right now, right? And like I said, this is just something we look at, we see in the book, and how things are lining up now with the Edomites kicking the Falasha, the Israelites, out, with the Palestinians getting whooped on every single day, because the Palestinians are Israelites, and I can prove that by these encyclopedias and stuff I have too. So with that being the case, listen, the word UFO, spaceship, that's not in the Bible. Even when you look at the word chariot or Merkaba, that's not in the Bible in the context of any man, woman, or child getting on that to meet Jesus in the air. That's not in the Bible. We can cut the bull crap, okay? We just read in Isaiah chapter 60 that the children of Israel were going to go into what? Their independence, and the ships of Tarshish, or the ships of Spain, are going to bring their sons and daughters from afar. Ships. Now, unless you're telling me that the land of Spain and all these other nations have the UFOs, first and foremost, like I said, you can go and look at the glass dome and look at the firmament. Ain't nothing getting in here, okay? So what I want to get people to understand is that you can look at this book. We're going through this more in detail, because like I said, I know people right now may be looking like, what are you talking about? What's going on? Because you don't understand. Most people just don't really read or study prophecy. Like a lot of things I brought out today, people haven't heard, right? A lot of people, I've told you about these things, but you've never seen these books. I've never shown you these books. But I've given people access to the books so they can go buy the books and they can get them, right? So when you go to Isaiah chapter 60, it makes it crystal clear how we're going back. Ezekiel also tells us that he's going to bring us back into the land. There are no UFOs involved. There's no chariots involved. Okay. Now, if you can, now here's the burden of proof. It's real simple. Show me anybody in the Bible, a group of people known as the children of Israel, getting on chariots or Merkabas, going up to be with Jesus Christ in the air, because Jesus doesn't exist. So now, this is real easy. It's real cutthroat and easy. Go to, matter of fact, any 4 verses. Let's use 4 verses. I'll let you mix and mingle them and mangle them how you want to mangle verses, and let's prove that we're going on UFO spaceships. Because this is some bull, and to be frank, this is some bull crap that's been taught by GMS and a lot of the One West camps. You're not, like, even the Egyptologists and the guys like Sonnet understand. Y'all think Jesus gonna crack the sky? That's foolishness. Even they see that's crazy. This ain't Perseus. Okay, this ain't Clash of the Titans. Gonna come back on the fly. So let's go. Let's once and for all. Let's go ahead and deal with it.
All right.
What verses are we going to?
We're in overtime right now. It's 9:20. So I'll be brief with this. Let's look at some of the scriptures that they use so people can look at it. Let's go to Matthew 24:31. And before we go into this, isn't it true, brother, that you said that by April 30th, 2018, Israel is going to be returned from exile? Is that true?
No, that's not true. And I think you know that.
Okay, I could have sworn you said that by April 30th, Israel will return from exile by April 30th. And then I think your elder said the first week of May, April to the first week of May. Am I wrong?
We're waiting on the children of Edom to be run out of the land. So between this time frame, yes, between that time frame. But you just said April 30th. I'm very meticulous and methodical in what I say.
So let me rephrase that. No later April 30th to May, first week of May. I would say that.
Correct. That's how we see the book. Correct. That's how we see the book.
Right. So for those who don't know, he's saying that Israel's going to be reestablished as a nation, and Israel's going back to build the third temple no later than April 30th to May, the first week of May this 2018. For those who don't know, that's his claim, and that's
Stop. Because you guys, and I'll explain this to you, but I see now you don't even understand it. It's not possible to leave April 30th and by the first week of May have a temple built. That is utterly ridiculous. And you can't build a temple in Jerusalem now anyway. There's the Dome of the Rock. That's idolatry. If you go to the book of Micah, the king of Assyria, which is Iraq, is going to smite the governor of YISRAEL, or what you call a king. But we don't have kings. We have governors. Go back and look at Zerubbabel. He was never called a king. He was called a governor. That's been stopped. Yah is the king and the only king and the only savior and redeemer. Okay. So now when we go back to the land, those idols, churches, mosques, that stuff has to come down. That takes time because most people, and we're going back in two ways. Most people aren't going because most people are into idolatry. Most people are on the fence, right? Most people still talking about Jesus and the good spell, the gospels. Most people are still into idolatry. Most people don't wear their fringes. Most people don't know how to spell Shabbat. Most Israelites right now out on the street corners cursing out women, cursing out children, cursing out the elderly. Okay? Eating unclean. They're fat, right? They don't care nothing about their body. They're not slim. They're not toned. They're eating unhealthy. Right? Because they have vehicles and cars. They'll put nothing but gas. If it's 87, if it's not, whatever their car costs for, that's the only thing they'll put in their car. They won't put honey in their car. They won't put sugar in their car. They won't put Coca-Cola or Pepsi in their car. But in their own body, they care more about their damn cars than their own body. That's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with Negroes. Okay, so most Negroes ain't going back. Even if they think they're going back, they're not, because they're not ready mentally. You're supposed to have this time. You're supposed to be preparing right now. And most Negroes are not. They're still on the fence. They don't know if Jesus is real. They're still quoting the Apocrypha. Most Negroes are still talking about Jesus is going to come and save them. Most Negroes are talking about YHWH. Isaiah 43:11 says that besides Yah, there is no Savior. But what most Negroes telling me? Oh, Jesus is a Savior. Or they're on the fence. Or they're afraid. Most Negroes still believing they're going to die and go to hell and burn forever. Idolatry. So, like I said, this stuff goes over most people's head. Because the problem is, you got these people, these nuts screaming out on the corners with tons of people following them straight to destruction. Don't use no scriptures. Teach bull crap like this UFO doctrine, which is straight bull crap. Let me just say it better, it's bullshit. It's not in the book. You can't prove it. No one can prove it. I've been doing this for a long time. They taught in the year 2000 that Jesus was coming back to save them. He didn't. We're in 2018, 18 years later. Now they want to look at me like I'm saying something crazy because I, who am not a prophet, is saying what we see in the book. Not once has anyone heard me say that Yah told me this. Like I said, I'm not a prophet. People may sit there and think I'm a prophet because I really live the life. My family don't eat pork. My family reads the labels. We don't utterly try to destroy our bodies, eating nonsense. We don't think that eating meat that has hormones and stuff like that is still good and clean. We don't eat honey. We don't eat chicken. Eating all that garbage. So that's the point. So let's get that crystal clear, because I'm not your elders. I'm not GMS. I'm not a false prophet. So let's get that first and foremost crystal clear. And if they want to get on here, I give their ass the business too. So you can bring them to Har and all the rest of them and Gabal on here too. And they can get it. Or any of their followers can get it. Because all we deal with is the knowledge. We're just dealing with the knowledge, the book, and we're dealing with the history. We got the history, the books, and the knowledge. That's all we're dealing with at the house of Yah. That's it. So if people want to try to trap me in a box saying, well, he said this, and if it doesn't, he's a false prophet. I'm not a prophet. I don't ask y'all for tithes because you can't take tithes. Money is not tithes. But y'all Negroes don't know that. because y'all elders telling y'all to send tithes. So let's get something crystal clear first and foremost. Y'all in the cult. Y'all don't wear the fringes. Y'all don't keep the law, statutes, commandments, precepts, ordinances, and judgments. We do to the best of our ability, and y'all don't. Well, I'm not calling anyone's mother a whore. I'm not attacking children of Israel. I've never asked a child of Israel for 1 red cent or 1 dime. I don't need your money because I'm a walking example of what the Creator would do for you if you do and keep His laws, statutes, commandments, precepts, orders, and judgments. I don't need your money. I got most money. I got more money than most Israelites anyway. I don't have to beg. My garments are top shelf. Now, this is not me being braggadocious. I don't have to do all that because I don't live an extravagant life anyway. Anybody that knows me knows I don't live an extravagant life. But anything I want, I have because the Creator has blessed me. You name it, I can go pretty much get it if I want it. And I don't have to do nothing wicked or lie or deceive anybody to get it. I don't ask people to call me elders. I don't ask people to give me double honor. I'm just a man doing the will of the Creator to the best of my ability and teaching my children and my offspring and my wife and my household to do the same thing and teaching the youth in my city. While everybody running around here talking about what they doing and what they got and what they doing this and they men of the Lord and they got 100% truth, I'm with the babies in the street. I'm teaching the babies. I volunteer and spend my money and my time with over 40 children that know I'm YISRAEL and know they're YISRAEL. My track record in my city is unmatched. If you deal with any type of religious talk, I will be invited to talk about it because I live the walk. I can get people on the phone right now that will vouch for my character. They can vouch for my character. I'm not a homosexual like some of these people in these camps are. I don't pop white women like some of these Israelites do. So with that being the case, shots fired. Matter of fact, not shots, cannons. I don't even drink alcohol. I don't smoke. Never smoked a joint in my life. I can walk this laptop right into my kitchen and look at my refrigerator. It's clean. Clean water, alkaline water, fruits, vegetables. No pork. Beef from a butcher shop. Can y'all do the same? Can you produce a garment? I got garments lying around. Fresh linen. No mixed fabrics. Fresh linen. With fringes. Pants. This is what we do. So if that's what y'all, if that's the angle we going, I ain't worried about that. When people see this video, they're gonna come in this comment and say they're gonna let you know what time it is. We've been doing this for a long time. I got brothers and sisters that can vouch for everything I'm saying. Been doing this for a long time. No brother and sister can ever come on here and say I defrauded them or took anything from them. But I guarantee you in the comment section, you can have brothers and sisters that come on and say I've done things for them. Because I don't take. I give good advice. So that's pretty much that. So now with that being the case, now let's see this Matthew where.
Yeah, well, we're running late. It's 9:30. It's running late. So I got 4 scriptures, brother. You said 4 scriptures, right?
And I'm gonna read them. Go ahead.
Let's start off with Psalm 16 and 17.
All right. Let me share the screen.
4 scriptures before we go. And I want to say something. I forgot what I was gonna say. I want to say something. You know, as far as like the brothers talk about, you know, blacks being the working class. I mean, let's be realistic. Most of our brothers and sisters are in the streets, so to speak. You know, they're drug dealers. They don't have jobs. They're drug dealers. They're gangbangers, and they fill the prison houses. You know, so because
how many African Americans, so-called African Americans, are in the prison houses right now in the prison industrial complex?
Well, I'll say this. I'll say this before we get to the topic. I mean, in my neighborhood where I'm from, I'm the only person that has not been locked up. Every other one of the people I grew up with were locked up. I come from a pretty bad neighborhood in New York, in Long Island. Everybody's been locked up with me. Even some of the better kids that lived amongst us has been locked up. So I think it's clear that most of our people are in the jailhouses. You know what I mean, and are in the prison, in and out the prison system. You know.
Okay, so now check this out. I'm sharing my screen. You said most people are in jail doing this. That's a lie. All right. So when you go back here and look, and that just shows the people don't have the wisdom to see what's really going on. The prison industrial complex is owned by corporations. So let's do that first. Let's see what we got. Visa, MasterCard. Prisons owned by corporations. It says private prison, Wikipedia. By June 2015, the Board of Trustees at Columbia University voted to divest from the private prison industry. Corrections Corporation of America, CCA, has a capacity of more than 80,000 beds in 65 correctional facilities. The GO Group operates 57 facilities with a capacity of 49,000 offenders. So let's look at this. It says private prison companies are for private or for profit prison, which y'all don't understand, because like I said, working class, profit, capitalism. You don't understand it. Because the prisons make money. You make license plates, you make products, you do most people don't even understand that 70% of the time, if you're talking to a teleperformance person that's telling you calling for a bill collector, they're from a prison. But most people don't know that. So you get into prison, they pay you 25 cents an hour, but on the street, a person will be making $10 an hour. That's even greater profit for that's why they're growing. That's why you see more prisons growing than schools. But Israel is redundant in the mind. They're retarded. They can't see these things. It says it's a place in which individuals are physically confined or incarcerated by a third party that's contracted by a government agency. Private prisons companies typically enter contractual agreements with governments that commit prisoners and then pay a per diem or monthly rate, either for each prisoner facility or for each place available, whether occupied or not. Such contracts may be for the operation only of a faculty facility or a design, construction, operation. Private prisons are controversial. The main argument for the contracting prisons to private operators is that it can save money. The main argument against contracting prisons is concerned that the rights and cap inmates will be compromised, among others, because it's about profit. People die in prison all the time because they can't get what? Look at it right here, medical treatment. They can't get the medical treatment. It says the United Kingdom was the first European country to use for private prison. Ward Prison opened at the first privately managed prison in the UK in 1992. In the UK, all private prisons are legally required to they're required by law, legally required to do what? Turn a profit. In UK, all private prisons are legally required to turn a profit. You keep telling me that's not the working class. They're required to turn a profit off the Negroes that you say ain't working. So when the Negroes get trapped in the system, why do you think they can't get a job? Why do you think when they get the felony, they can't go get certain jobs? Can't be postal law, they can't work for the government. When they get these felonies, what happens? It pushes them into fast food restaurants, and they don't make enough money for that. So they go right back into the life of crime, and it's a cycle, and it's intentional. And that's why the Negroes lead the prison population, just like Yeshaya said. My people are hid in prison houses. But y'all can't see it because you don't think. Now, Mexicans don't lead the prison population. We do. The children of YISRAEL do. So as I say, and I tell you again, you say most of us into this, most of us in that. If you don't pay child support, you go to court, you pay court costs. The government makes money. The legal system makes money. You go to jail if you don't pay. You go to jail. These private prisons are already contracted to the government to sell a certain amount of beds or a certain amount of space. And guess what happens? They make money, and they're required by law to legally do what? Make a profit. So this is, like I said, I don't know what are y'all even looking at in the United States? The privatization of prisons can be traced to the contracting of confinement and care of prisoners after the American Revolution. Deprived of the ability to ship criminals and undesirables to the colonies, Great Britain began placing them on hulks used as prison ships more than English ports. In 1852, on the northwest San Francisco Bay in California, inmates of the prison ship Waban began building a contract facility to house themselves at Point Quentin. The prison became known as San Quentin, which is still in operation today. So they made the prisoners build the prison they in, and they run it at a profit. It is a partial transfer of prison administration from private to public privatization. The next phase began in the Reconstruction period, 1865 to 1876 in the South. After the end of the Civil War, plantations and businessmen needed to find replacements for the labor force, labor force, the word, and watch what it says. Let me highlight it. Plantations, because you said the African Americans are in jail. They doing this and they got felonies. Let's see why. Plantations and businessmen needed to find replacements for the labor force once their slaves had been freed. They hadn't done nothing wrong. They needed replacements. Once the slaves, the free workforce, the slaves were gone, they had to find replacements. It says beginning in 1868, convict leases were issued to private parties to supplement their workforce. Workforce, and right above it, labor force. This system remained in place until the early 20th century. And you can go down to war on drugs and increased use of incarceration, prison overcrowding. Rising costs became increasingly problematic for local, state, and federal governments. In response to this expanding criminal justice system, private business interests saw an opportunity for expansion. And consequently, private sector involvement in prisons moved from a simple contracting of service to contracting of the complete management and operation of entire prisons. So they couldn't run it because America's so goddamn corrupt and so wicked and satanic. The daughter of Babylon is so wicked and satanic that they ran out of room for the prisoners, got more prisoners than any other country on the planet. So they did what? They started contracting out to these businesses, privatizing it, and having the people come in, and you go in there and work, and you make license plates. Now you go to the license plate, you might pay $45, $60 for a license plate, but they charge them $1 a quarter an hour. They pay them a quarter an hour to make the license plate. How many license plates do you think they make in an hour? Let's say they make 10. So they gave them 25 cents on their books to make 10 license plates, but the license plates sell for $40 to $60. That's $400 to $600 off just paying what? 1 quarter. But you keep saying that it's not. The war on drugs was the war on Negroes. Why do you think you go to jail more for crack, which is less potent than cocaine? Because cocaine was a more expensive drug that Europeans were using, so-called whites. But crack, which was a cheaper drug, mixed with other rat paw, all kind of other stuff, right? Baking soda and stuff like that. And what did they do? They started giving us more time for that. So you keep saying the workforce. Then you made the statement and said that most people of our people are in jail. That's a lie. It's only about 6 million Negroes in jail. And it's over 50 million Negroes in America. Last time I checked, that is not most. That ain't 25%. Now you go.
All right. So we got it's 9:30. It's 9:30 now. It's getting late. So, brother, you want to go through these 4 scriptures before we close out? You hear me, brother? You want to go through these? You want to go through these 4 scriptures?
You said you was going through the book of Psalms. What chapter?
We're gonna start with Psalms. We got 4 scriptures to go to before we close out, and we'll let the audience make their decision. This is Psalm 68, verse 17.
Okay, let's go to Psalm 68. We're gonna go up 2 verses before we get to 17. Okay, we're gonna start at 14. Let's go up 3 verses on 14.
If you could screenshot that.
I am. I'm gonna put it on now. That's the only way to do it, so the people can see and everybody got to make a decision. All right. We're going to start at verse 14. When the Almighty scattered kings in it, it was white as snow in Salmon. It says 15, the hill of Yah is as the hill of Bashan, and high hill as the hill of Bashan. Why leap ye high hills? This is the hill of Yah, desired to dwell in, yea, the Lord will dwell in it forever. The chariots of God are 20,000. Now that word God right there is Elohim. Okay, that's not 3068. And the word chariot there is rekeb. It's not markaba, or 20,000, even thousands of angels, and the Lord is among them, as in Sinai in the holy place. So even right here, we don't see anything about us going inside these ships.
All right, so it says the chariots of God, Elohim, are 20,000, even thousands of angels. This is talking about the angels. So let's go to Matthew. This whole angel thing. Let's go to Matthew 24:31, and I got two more other scriptures.
Okay, so we're going to Matthew 24, right?
Start at verse 30.
Okay, we're going to go up 2 verses. Let's go up 28. For whosoever the carcass is, there will be eagles be gathered together. Verse 29, immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven. Really? Because y'all, according to Europeans, y'all teach that the stars are suns and moons and stuff, right? And the powers of the heaven shall be shaken. Verse 30, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of the heaven to the other. Now stop. Explain that. And keep in mind.
It says Jesus is coming back in the clouds, and he's going to send the angels to gather the elect from the four winds of the earth. Whether they're in America, Somalia, Morocco, Europe, Dominican Republic, the angels know who's who. Now, if the nations are going to send us back, how are they going to distinguish between who's Israel and who's not? Because we're mixed amongst the heathen. So the nations don't know who's Israel and who's not, but the angels know. The angels know.
No, it's not. The nations know who we are. This is the problem with y'all. If I take you into the store and I steal some bubble gum, and then I get caught, and then the police officer say, where did you get this from? Don't you know I can walk right back to the aisle I stole it from? Why do you think they do a census every year? No, hold on. Why do you think they do a census every year or every few years? Why do you think they come in and say, okay, report everybody by law who's in your household? Why do you think? Who do you think they're keeping tabs on?
Well, here's the thing. Through race mixing, a lot of people's patrilineage, which patrilineage just means their descendants from their father's side, may become from a slave master because they were raping our women. So not everybody who looks dark-skinned or was in America or Brazil is an Israelite, because some of them could Gentiles. The race mixing.
Hold on, listen. Who said anything about that? That's a different argument.
How are the nations going to determine who's a descendant of a slave master and who is the actual Yahudim? Because of all the race mixing that happened.
Because the nations themselves are not going to come and say, you, Israel, you are not. You, Israel, you're not. You're Israel, you're Egyptian. They're not going to do that. Because Yah is going to just look. Let me ask you a question. We were in Africa. In the 1600s, they brought us to Americas, right? We had discontinued from our heritage. We was living just like the heathens. Right? Right?
Right.
How did they know who to gather and put on the ships? They didn't have no documents saying, okay, no, they knew the general vicinity. They know who we are. Now you sitting, and like I said, you keep thinking that all Israelites are going back. They're not. Matter of fact, most of y'all don't even want to go back. You'll say you do, but you really don't. Because you're not ready to get up the ice cream. You're not ready to get up the pizza and the Pizza Hut and the Taco Bell. And the chicken, and the fried chicken, the Popeyes, and the pork skins, and the Coca-Cola and the Pepsi. You're not ready to give it, and the Xbox and Xbox Live. You're not ready to give that up. PlayStation. Hell, just PlayStation, that just knocked out 20 million goddamn Negroes that don't want to go back now because ain't no Wi-Fi. They don't even understand what Wi-Fi do to you. So once again, there's going to be the children of Jerusalem that go back first. These are the ones that go back and get the way straight, tear down that mosque, Dome of the Rock, all of that. Read Micah chapter 5, Micah chapter 4. And then we're going to clean that land. We're going to dwell there. And then the second return is when the other children of Israel shall return. But not all of them are going to be about Yah. And that's why they're going to die. They're going to die. That's why you see in the scriptures, it says that Israelites in the land are going to be raped, killed, and murdered because they're not about Yah. They're going to come with that foolishness talking about JC. JC did this, JC did that. And just like with Moshe, Yah is going to put them to death. because idolatry is no longer going to be tolerated. Everybody got to make a decision. Trust me, ain't nobody, this first Exodus going back, ain't nobody believing in Jesus going back. Period. Because you can't take an idol back to clean up the land from idols. What happened if a Negro go in there and into a church and see a black Jesus on the wall? He gonna want to keep it. See, this is proof, y'all. He want to keep it now. So once again, just like when we came out of the when you look at when we came out of the Babylonian Persian captivity, how many of us came out?
Well, here's the thing. That second Ezra, the 6th chapter, tells you that the Levites could not prove their genealogies, so they were excluded from the priesthood because they didn't have the hardcore proof that they were Levites. They were counted as unclean.
So what does Ezekiel tell us? Huh? What does he? Let me get it real quick.
Can we do 11 and 12? Then we'll deal with that.
Oh, we'll get it. We'll get it. I don't have. Listen, with this. We can listen. Let's just do it. If we're gonna do it, let's do it right. Let's not cheat.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Revelation 11 and 12. Then I'll let you counter. Then I'll let you counter. Then I'll let you respond.
Okay, but you just asked the question, right? Just ask the question, right? You said how we gonna know who the Levites are? Ezekiel chapter 20, verse 37. What does it say? And I will cause you to pass on the right, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant. When you go back and look in the Old Testament, everything that went under the rod, one of those things belonged to Yah. The rest went to you. So he's going to bring us back under the bond of the covenant. What's the bond of the covenant? The covenant is that Levites must be the high priest. Levites must do this. Levites must do that. Yehudites are the ruling class. The Yahudim. So he got to bring us back under the bond of the covenant. He got to let us know what tribes we're from. This is a Yah thing. This ain't us. We don't need no damn book. We don't need no 12 tribe chart. That's garbage. African Americans are so-called African Americans are the children of Yehuda. Garbage. And I will cause you. So Ezekiel chapter 20, verse 37 says, 36, he says, like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt, so will I plead with you, said Yah. Like I said, Negroes gonna get that work. And I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant. So he's going to give us the law again. Because things have been tampered with. He's going to give us the law again. He's going to let y'all niggas know that chicken is unclean. And then he says, and I will purge out from among you the rebels and them that transgress against me, break the law. And I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter to the land of YISRAEL, and you shall know that I am the Lord. This is all y'all's doing. This is not Trump.
Okay, let's go to Exodus 2 and 62 real quick for the people.
Exodus?
Exodus 2 and 62.
Going at where? Ezra?
The book of Exodus, the 2nd chapter, the 62nd verse.
I'm looking, okay. You said the book of Ezra?
Verse 62, verse 62.
Oh, 62, okay. It says, these sought their register among those that were reckoned.
Let's start verse 61.
Okay. It says, and the children of the priests, the children of Habiah, and the children of Kaz, the children of Barzillai, which took a wife of the daughters of Barzillai, the Gileadite, and was called after their name. These sought their registry among those that were reckoned by genealogy, but they were not found. Therefore were they as polluted, put from the priesthood. So what's your point?
So these Levites got excluded from the priesthood because they couldn't substantiate their genealogies.
Listen, but the difference is this. During this Babylonian captivity, we were not discontinued from our heritage at that time. Do you understand that?
But what did happen, for people, I mean, of course, we talk all the time. For people who don't know, it was Isaiah had to Yashu, right? Yashu is a Hebrew word that means only a remnant will return. This was an omen, so to speak, because only a remnant was going to return. And if I'm not mistaken, only a small remnant came back from Babylon. A very small remnant was Zerubbabel. That's in the book of Ezra, what we're just reading right now, the 4th chapter, to go back and build the temple.
A little over 42,000 Israelites.
Yeah, only a remnant of us went back. Where was the rest of Israel? They didn't even want to go back, if I'm not mistaken.
Ain't that's what I just told you? That most Negroes don't want to go back. Most Negroes are not into the ways, statutes, commandments, laws, precepts.
Oh yeah, definitely right. Yeah, definitely agree with you on that. I definitely agree. So let's go to, before you respond, let's go to Revelation 11 and 12.
Okay, so you remember we down 2 verses. And you ain't proved it yet.
Yeah. Ezra was a side verse. That was a side verse. That wasn't one of my verses.
Revelation what?
11 and 12. Start at verse 11.
It says, and after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from God entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and a great fear fell upon them that saw them. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended to the heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. So you're telling me now that that word cloud 3507 is talking about a UFO? Because Nephile is the word, Greek 3507, and it means properly clouds. That is concretely a cloud, a literal cloud. It didn't say anything about beam me up, Scotty. And remember, first and foremost, when you go to Revelation chapter 1, what does Revelation tell you? Let's see it. This is not even literal. I mean, it's garbage anyway, but let's look at it. The revelation of JC, which God gave unto him to show.
I'm sorry, brother. That was the wrong scripture. Revelation 18 and 4. I'm sorry. Sorry, brother. That was the wrong scripture. Revelation 18, 3 through 4.
I get 18 as well, but let me finish this. And it says, and he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John. G4591. A mark of uncertainty to indicate, signify, make known with symbols. The word is samino, right? Samino, right? And it means to make known with symbols, signify. So this is all symbolic. Just like Jesus doesn't have a sword in his mouth, but that sword represents what? The word. It cuts like a two-edged sword. This is all metaphorical wordplay. This is not literal. So now we're going to go to Revelation 18 and let's see, because you're going to have to explain this, because it's not literal.
3 through 4. I'm sorry, it was the wrong scripture, brothers. Sorry, brothers and sisters. I had the wrong scripture.
Revelation 18 what?
3 through 4.
Okay. 3. For all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Now we know literally the nations have not drunk what? Wine, right? Right? But it's talking about what? Doctrines, right? So this is not literal. And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. Had all the kings literally came into America, the daughter of Babylon, and had sex with her? Did they put what they call dicks in the dirt? No, it's not literal. And it says, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities.
There you go. So, okay, so Amos 9 and 8 says, to link it up, then I got my last scripture. It says that the Most High's eyes upon the sinful kingdom, he will destroy it off the face of the earth. So it says that come out of her. The scripture said to come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her plagues.
Okay, so hold on. So you went to Revelation 18 and 4. Is this a UFO? Is this a spaceship?
Yeah, links up with Revelation chapter 11, where it says the come up hither. What did it say? Come up hither, right? Come up hither.
Okay. Revelation 18 and 4, right? Come out of her, my people. And remember, this is symbolic. It's signified. That's why Revelation chapter 1 verse 1 says, make known with signs.
I'm sorry, brother. I was looking for. Okay, let me explain for those who may be confused. According to the One West doctrine, while the America's getting nuked at World War III, when the missiles are coming down, the spaceships are going to come subsequently and pick them up, beam them up, and when they get beamed up, they're going to get the glorified bodies. But while the missiles are hitting, simultaneously the ships are going to pick them up and bring them up out of the firmament, and then bring them back down to earth in the land of Israel. Well, no, I'm sorry, in the wilderness, because they teach that after America gets destroyed, everyone's going to the wilderness to pass under the rod of the covenant. So the UFOs, like to recap, are going to pick us up after America gets nuked by nuclear fire by Russia, and we're going to go to the wilderness to pass under the rod of the covenant, and then we're going back to the land of Israel.
One West doesn't teach we're going under to pass on the rod of the covenant. That's not what One West teaches. That's what we teach. One West doesn't say that. They say we're going into the wilderness, but they don't teach that.
Right. Well, I mean, the past underwater cover. It just means that we're gonna get the laws. We're gonna learn the laws. We're gonna everything. We're gonna relearn everything. In the wilderness.
Glorified bodies before we get the law. Hold on, something's backwards. How are we getting glorified bodies before we get the law?
I'll explain that. When you go up out of the firmament, like Rod Rack, the brother Rod Rack was on last week when we did the first show, our second show here at Great Millstone, Long Island. By the way, don't forget to subscribe. Like he was saying, when you go up to the firmament, you have to put a mask on because you can't breathe. Just like if you go in the water, you have to put a mask on. See, because you can't breathe. You can't breathe underwater. So when you go up there, the human body itself, because there's something called the Van Allen's radiation belt. When you go outside of the all kind of all kind of bad things happen to the body. Your body starts to break down and stuff like that. So to go up into the firmament, you have to have a glorified body. Go up into the.
Okay, hold on. Stop. First off, the word firmament is a solid object. It is not just something you can just empty space you can pass through. Let's get that firmament.
Well, let me say this. When you ascend up to the heavens and the clouds, you have to. That's when their bodies are going to be glorified, according to the One West doctrine. That's when their bodies are going to be glorified. Then they're going to come down into the wilderness, pass under the rod of the covenant, and then go back and build the temple.
Okay, listen. Okay, listen. Hold on. Now you mentioned the Van Allen's radiation belt as well. You're not. I don't think you're paying attention to science, right? Check this out.
There's different levels. The seven heavens, right? I mean, there's different levels, obviously. I mean that's a whole other discussion. But you don't go right. When you go up through the seven heavens, right?
Hold on. No, I don't know anything about the seven heavens. That's not scripture. See, that's that nonsense. Now you see this here. You see this picture right here to the right that I'm showing you on the screen. That, my friend, is the Van Allen radiation belt, supposedly according to.
I can't see anything. You still on eastward.
Okay, hold on 1 second. You don't see that?
Nah, I think we're getting a lag. I think that's why there's a little lag going on. Actually, this is eastward. But anyway, yeah. Go, brother.
If anybody looks up the Van Allen radiation belt, you'll see the inner radiation belt and the outer radiation belt. It is miles away from the planet Earth. Just look it up. So if you were in a spaceship, you would need to go into deep outer space just to come back and go into a wilderness. That makes zero sense.
Oh, see, here's the thing. Because when the missiles are dropping, all that destruction is going to happen from the missiles dropping. And of course, they also teach. Let me finish. When they also teach that we're going to go up into the heavenly realms. We're going to be going up in space as well. We're going to be doing space traveling, and we're going to go back to take all those satellites out of space. Because if you look at space, there's debris everywhere up there. It's called space junk. There's space junk all over. All that has to go. See what I'm saying? So we got to go back.
Hold on. Stop. There's no space junk. They didn't go through the firmament. They didn't go through the Van Allen radiation belt.
Okay, type in space junk and look at that. I can show it to you.
Listen, you can type in space junk all you want. You're talking about low Earth, because even satellites are not out of space. They're low Earth.
Type in space junk. Let's take a look. Let's take a look and see what it says. Because all that stuff has to go.
See this? Listen. I'm gonna show you something. You see this picture I'm showing you?
Screenshot that.
I'm gonna screenshot it and tell me what you see. I'll tell you exactly what I see. Tell me what you see. Check this out. I'm not gonna show you something. Hold on. Tell me what you see. Can you see that?
Still looking at eastward.
Well, I don't know what's going on, but if anybody Google space junk, first and foremost, there is no picture of the Earth itself. So when you look, these are cartoon drawings. They're all paintings and pictures made by men. There's no space. There is literally no picture of planet Earth. No picture.
You say this for those who don't know. Ezekiel believes he believes in flat Earth. He believes in the flat Earth theory.
I don't stop saying that. You believe. I don't believe. I know. Because like I said, if you look right here, it says, this is what it says. I don't know if it's some lag or whatever's going on, but it says this. This is what it says. Check this out. The Earth is an oblate spheroid, right? An oblate spheroid. And then you can go and look online. You'll see that these scientists like Neil deGrasse Tyson are saying that it's shaped like a what? Pear. Well, the picture they showed from the moon landing, didn't look like a damn pear to me. somebody's lying. And then you just look up, like I said, I just went back and looked and showed you the Google images. I don't know why you can't see it. I'm looking at it crystal clear. Anybody at home, type in space debris or space junk, and you'll see these are artificial paintings. These are pictures with a bunch of little dots around saying that's space junk. First and foremost, this is space junk. They haven't even launched that much stuff for it to be look like that. This is ridiculous. And y'all fall for this crap. So you mean to tell me right now you can't see the space junk picture? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I for whatever reason,
Okay.
it's too late for it.
Okay, stop. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop. I'm going to go here. I'm going to redo it again. Let me screen share this again so the people can see this foolishness, this nonsense. Check this out.
Let me say one thing before we do that. Hey, we can see it now. Now, if you know, when you go up to space, you have to have a spacesuit on.
Hold on. Can you see this? No, I don't know anything because nobody's ever been there. I've never seen anybody there. So now, you see this picture? Can you see it now?
Oh, yeah. See it good.
Okay. Is that a real picture?
Go out on type of space junk and go out and let's look at some other pictures. I'm sure there's more than one picture.
Okay. Now, let's go to images, space junk. Now, pick one. Pick one. Pick any one. Pick one. Show me one that's real. Pick it to me. Show it to me. Show it. Come on, show it to me. Show me a real picture of planet Earth with space junk.
There you go. Go to the left. Go up where it says 1957. Yeah, he clicked that one. Now let's look at brothers and sisters. Let's look at this. That has to go.
That's a real picture?
Before 1990, there's no space debris. 1957. As in 2015, look at the debris around the Earth.
No, hold on. Listen, stop. You're telling me that's a real picture?
It's an artistic rendition.
Okay, so where's the real picture? Because hold on, listen. You see every dot? You see those dots? Those dots are big. Those dots are bigger than cities. So you're telling me in 2015, we've launched that much stuff? We haven't been to space that many times. Come on, man, stop it.
I've seen in my own eyes spaceships in orbit. I've seen them with my own eyes.
No, what you've seen is things flying in high altitude, flying. You haven't seen anything in outer space, son. You can't see in outer space. Stop it. What are you talking about?
You can't see in outer space, but you can see the moon. Isn't the moon in outer space?
No, it is not.
What's that?
Watch this here. Hold on, watch this here. You saying the moon is in outer space, right? Why can't you see the craters on the moon? But you look you can look right down your damn street right now, and you can't make out the damn indentions on a brick 2 blocks down the street, but you can look at the indentions and craters on the moon that's supposed to 230,000 miles away? Good night. Negative. You've been hoodwinked. Show it to me. Show me right here. That is not a real picture. I'll go back to any image. You show it to me. I'm on space junk. Is that real? That's real? Okay. Why is the rest of the planet looking all clean? Right? Let's see. That's the same one. Bull crap. Same one. Bull crap. Let's just go back. Let's find a real image of a real image. Watch this here. Okay. Let's just go to is that real? Nope. Is that real? Nope. Why do they all look different? Is that real? Nope. Is that real? Nope. Is that real? Nope. Is that real? Nope. Why they all different? If they real pictures. Is that real? Nope. How did stuff get way out there 2.5 times the distance away from the planet Earth? We haven't even been that far.
Okay, well, can we look at the space junk definition and read that? I know it's getting late. Like I said, we're in overtime, brothers and sisters, but you know, we started late today. So space debris, yeah.
Space debris. It says Wikipedia. Space debris, also known as space junk, space waste, space trash, space litter, or space garbage, is a term for the mass of defunct, artificially created objects in space, most notably in Earth orbit, such as old satellites and spent rocket stages. It includes the fragments from their disintegration, erosion, and collisions. As of December 2016, 5 satellite collisions have resulted in generating spaceway. So as of December 2016, since they've been making satellites, it says 5 have hit. So you telling me 5 satellites have hit and they're producing that picture on the side, all that debris. Are you serious, man? The damn earth is covered, man. How can you make that much trash? It ain't that much trash on the earth. And we here. As of July 5th, as the 5th of July 2016, the United States Strategic Command tracked a total of 17,852 artificial objects in orbit above the earth. Look at those dots on the side. That's more than 17,000 objects, including 1,419 operational satellites. However, these are just objects large enough to be tracked. As of July 2013, more than 170 million.
There you go.
Hold on, stop. It says, however, as of July 2013, more than 170 million debris smaller than 1 centimeter. That's a fourth of an inch. About 670,000 debris 1 to 10 centimeters, and about 29,000 large debris were estimated to be in orbit. You cannot see anything 0.4 of an inch in outer space. Are you kidding me, bruh? Hold on. You see this picture of the earth with all the debris right here? Right here? You see that?
Yeah.
It says what? A computer-generated image. It's not real. None of it is real. Like I said, we can go to images. Listen, I'll do it even better for you. Earth. Shit, this is the earth. None of it is real. See that? Fake. Fake. Photoshop. Why is the earth changing color? Why is it different? Fake. Fake. You see that? This is Photoshop. Photoshop. See that? Photoshop. This is all. Watch this here. Let's visit this web page. Let's see what it says. You see this? This is the damn Command and Conquer video game. Fake. 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 You might well go play the damn video games. We can keep going. Fake. Fake. A satellite that big? When did it launch from Earth? You know how big that satellite would have to be to show that? Fake. We have never built nothing that size. Look at South America right here. And if you took this satellite and moved it on South America, it'd be damn near almost from here to here. We've never built nothing that large. You serious? Fake. 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 And just let me know which one you want to stop on. We can visit the page and watch what happens. All these are fake, man. All of them are fake. Yah says that his earth has a foundation. Anything with a foundation doesn't move. I don't know what's taking it so long. Probably struggling from the fakeness. Listen, look, let's keep going. Fake, 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 really? Fake, fake. And you might say, oh, that's real. Oh, you think that's real? Let's visit that page. See that? Fake. Fakeness. All of it's fake. See this? Fake.
Yeah, I think he joked. He believes that all these images of Earth are Photoshop or forged.
No, I think it's fake. 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 Come on, that's not fake. Oh, I guess that's real too, right? Fake. Fake. Why is the planet looking different? You know, when I see your face and I come back and see your face 2 weeks from now, I can recognize you. Oh, that's real too, right? Come on, man. Fake. Fakeness. Look at 2 planets. Look at that. Come on, man. Fake.
Yeah. Well, I got one more sketch before we close out.
Take any of these pictures. I challenge anybody to take any of these pictures, put them in Photoshop, and I got Photoshop on my computer. I can show you the artifacts.
Yeah, leave a comment in the comment section if you want to talk about this. If you want to respond to it.
Keep going, fake. You see that picture there? See that? From according to the light source, where's the sun? Because the moon supposedly right here is lit up, and the top portion of that is lit up. That would mean the moon.
Do you think the moon landing was staged?
Of course, it was staged. We haven't been. Hold on. Name one thing Europeans do they don't do over and over again. Rape, rob, pillage, they do it over again. Steal heritage, they do it over and over again. You just saw 2 weeks ago to a month ago, Nefertiti came out as a white woman again, right? Looking like Britney Spears, right? Why they haven't been back to the moon? Fake. Come on, man. Now, I'll more so believe something like this without the fisheye lens. But like I said, I know Photoshop when I see it. Because I can put it in, I can put all this stuff in. If you want to on the next one, I'll throw it in there and show you the artifacts where they're taking the clouds, posting the clouds over, using copies of the clouds.
We'll definitely do that next time.
I guess you think that's real? Huh? You think that's real? What about that? What you think that's real? That's real? Huh? Come on, man. Let's stop it. Okay, now what's your next script?
Our last scripture before we close out, Baruch chapter 4, and it's in the Apocrypha.
Okay, you have to get Baruch.
You screenshot it. I'll read it.
I don't have the Apocrypha. You know, I don't deal with the Apocrypha because it's
yeah, you just go to Google. Just go to Google, like you just looked at the Google images. Just type in Google. Go to Google. And type in Baruch 4.
What you want to look at?
Instead of verse 6, then we go down to verse 18.
And remember how we went through Baruch? Don't nobody know who Baruch is? Remember that? Okay.
It says he was separated with Jeremiah. He was one of Jeremiah's scribes. They were very close friends. Apparently.
But I crushed that when we talked on the phone. Remember?
How did you crush it? I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, read verse 6.
You were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, but because you moved God's wrath, you were delivered unto the enemies. Now remember, I told you that I don't agree with the Apocrypha, pretty much anything, because our book tells us this. For ye provoked him that made you by sacrificing unto devils and not to God. Ye have forgotten the everlasting God that brought you up, and ye have grieved Jerusalem that nursed you. For when she saw the wrath of God coming upon you, she said, Hearken, O ye that dwell about Zion, God hath brought upon me great mourning. For I saw the captivity of my sons and daughters, which the everlasting brought upon them. With joy.
Go down to verse 17.
Okay. But what can I help you? For he that brought these plagues upon you will deliver you from the hands of your enemies.
Read that again.
But he that brought these plagues upon you will deliver you from the hands of your enemies. Now stop. Is he singular or plural?
So obviously it says he, which is the Most High, is going to deliver us.
But I thought you said in Matthew the angels was going to do it. See, now your books are contradicting each other. I love that silence, dog.
No, that's not a contradiction. Psalm 68 and 17. So it's not a contradiction. Like for example, let me ask you a question. Let's reconcile this.
Okay.
And we read the book of Genesis, the first chapter. It talks about Elohim Barashit. It means Elohim, right? But the scripture said that the Most High Himself created. Let's get that real quick. Hold on. Let's get that. Let me get that 1 second. One second, brothers. Can you hear me, brother?
I hear you. Go ahead. Loud and
clear. Hold on, I got the scripture. Hold on 1 second. I'm getting it right now.
Can you see the screen I'm sharing?
I had to click out. I'm looking for a scripture. 1 second. Go to Job 9 and 8. I found it.
Job chapter 9, verse 8. Which alone spread out the heavens and treaded upon the waves of the sea, which maketh Arcturus, Orion, and Pleiades, and the chambers of the south, which doeth great things past the finding out.
Reverse it again.
Reverse. Read what verse? Hello?
Verse 8.
Which alone spreadeth out the heavens and treadeth upon the waves of the sea. Hello?
Sorry, brother. I'm sorry. Yeah. So what does it mean to stretch out the heavens?
What do you mean? Created the heavens. It means to create the heavens.
He created it, right?
Yeah, y'all created the heavens.
There you go. So why in Genesis does it say that Elohim did it? Now some people are teaching like GMS that the Elohim was talking about the angels, the ones who did it. But if you go to Job 9 and 8, the Most High is clear. He alone does this. So which one is it?
It's Yah. He alone. But see, when you go to the word Elohim here, see, look what it says.
I'm talking about in Genesis where it says the Elohim. It was the Elohim. The word Yahweh or Jehovah or Yah is not there. It says Elohim, meaning the angels that did it.
Okay, listen.
I'm trying to reconcile.
It's easy to reconcile. It's right here. Elohim. It says the plural.
Yeah, where you at? Where you at?
You can't see my screen?
You still on
Genesis 1, right?
No, you're still in Baruch.
Okay, hold on. Let me go back out. Let me back out.
You gotta go back out and go back in.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me go back out.
So it's the Most High. It says the Most High alone makes the heavens. So did the Most High use the angels to make the heavens, or was it just him? That's my question.
It was the Most High alone. The angels don't have any power to make heaven or make anything.
Okay. Oh, well, that's good because people are teaching that it was the angels. So go ahead, brother.
Okay, check this out. Let me break it down like this here. Check this out. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read something most people don't read, right? All right. What do you see right now?
Isaiah 43 and 1.
And what does the heading say?
Israel's only savior.
Okay. But now thus saith Yah, that created thee, O Jacob, and he that formed thee, O Israel. Fear not, for I have redeemed thee. I have called thee by thy name. Thou art mine. When thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee. Through the rivers, they shall not overflow thee. When thou walkest through the fire, thou shalt not be burned, neither shall the flame kindle upon thee. For I am Yah, the strong one, the Holy One of Israel, thy Savior. I, singular, gave Egypt for thy ransom, Ethiopia and Seba for thee, since thou wast in my sight. Right? And you see that?
He used the angels to do it. Like,
stop. Look at Isaiah 43 and 3. What does it say?
For I am, what's the word for Lord? Let's get it. Oh yeah, Yahweh, the Most High. That's what Most High in the ancient Hebrew. You say Yahweh. I am Yahweh Elohim, the Holy One of Israel. That's
Stop. Go back. So now, for I am
Yahweh.
It says, hold on, listen. It says what? Self-existent.
It's a sacred name.
Right?
You see the sacred name there, yeah.
Huh?
You see the sacred name there.
No, the sacred name is not there. The sacred name is under Yah. That's why I call him Yah. YHWH is pronounced Yah. We'll get into that another.
We disagree with that. We disagree on that. Yeah.
I know we disagree on a lot of things. So for I am Yah, thy what? Elohim. Now you think that's plural. But that's why in the English they didn't make it plural because they understand. That's why it's not gods. But when you click on the thing, it says gods in the ordinary sense, but specifically used in the plural, thus especially with the article of the supreme God. You see that? Plural of the supreme God. That's singular. You have to know when to differentiate. And that's why it says, for I am Yah, thy strong one. This is why you always hear me say, I said on last week, we're God, strong one. Right? Because for I am Yah, thy what? Strong one. That's why it says God's in the ordinary sense, but specifically used in the plural.
Well, let me get to the point. The point I'm trying to make is, like, who brought us out of Egypt? Was it did the Most High come down to take us out of Egypt, or did he use the angels and Moses?
No, he didn't use any angels. The Most High led us out of Egypt.
The Most High came down and led us out of Egypt?
It just told us we was led by a pillar of fire and a cloud by day.
Yeah, a pillar of fire. Now, who's that pillar of fire?
It just said Yah used a pillar of fire to. It didn't say anything about an angel. The angel passed over and killed the firstborn.
There you go. Right.
The angel didn't lead us out of Egypt.
So that was the Most High himself, he said.
Hold on, what does the book say? Brought thee out of the what? The land. Check this out. Let me know when you're ready. You ready?
Yep, I'm ready. For heads up, GMS is teaching that that's the UFOs that let us out, which wasn't the Most High himself, it was the angels, but they're teaching that. So for those who are confused or may want to know.
Say what now?
I said GMS is teaching that the pillar, the cloud, was the UFO. It was an angel, not the Most High himself.
I know. But when you look up the word cloud, they say it's a literal cloud. That's what I'm saying. I don't say nobody.
They're teaching it was the angels, but you're teaching that was Hashem himself.
Hold on. Okay, you just confused me. On what part? What are you talking about?
The pillar that led us out of Egypt.
Okay, yeah.
Was that the question? Was that the Most High, or was that an angel?
Most High. Check this out. I'm listen. Listen. You ready? Check this out. Hold on 1 second. Touch the screen. Check this out. Watch this here now. You ready?
Yep.
Let's go to Exodus chapter 3, verse 2. I mean, chapter 3, right? 1 and 2. Hear the word.
Hold on. If you can, we go to Daniel 12 and 1 after that.
Okay, can you see this Amos 3 and 1?
Yes.
Okay. Hear this word that who?
Yahweh.
Okay. Have spoken against who?
You.
Who is the you? O children of who?
Israel.
Against the whole family, which what?
I.
Who is the I?
Hashem.
There you go. I mean, it's right there. I didn't
that's the basic scripture, but I mean, can we go to that scripture in Exodus that talks about the cloud to prove that was the Most High? I mean, I'm not saying it's not true. Then let's go to Daniel 12 and 1.
All right. Exodus chapter 13, 21. You ready?
Yep.
Read that.
And Yahweh Elohim went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud to lead them.
And by night in a pillar of what?
The word for Lord there? HD068, go. Let's put your cursor on it. Yeah, that's the most. Yeah, you're right, brother. You're right about that.
So is it still Elohim?
Right, but the Most High, Yah didn't part the Red Sea for us. It was Moses.
No, it wasn't. No.
The Most High didn't come down and part the Red Sea. The Most High, it was Moses, right?
No, he told Moses to put his staff in the water because he was making the people understand that Moses had no power. See, we move at Yah's behest. And watch this here. Why do you think that cloud would show up or that pillar of fire would show up? Because when it showed up, that's when we moved. We didn't move because Moses said so.
Okay. So
look. Check this out. Verse 21. And the Lord went before them in a pillar of cloud to lead them the way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light to go by day and night. He took not away the pillar of the cloud by day, nor the pillar of fire by night from before the people. That's how Yah was leading us.
So who's going to deliver us from this captivity that we're coming out of in April?
Yah. Who put us in it?
Yeah, right. But isn't the Most High going to use the nations to physically bring us back, or is the Most High Himself going to bring us back? Which goes back to the topic.
The Most High Himself. The Most High is literally going to change the hearts of men as He always do, like He did who? The
He's using men. He's not doing it Himself. He's going to use men to do it.
No, listen, stop. Who changed Pharaoh's heart? Did Pharaoh do it or did Yah do it?
It's Amos 9. It's Romans 9. It says he hardened Pharaoh's heart.
No, in the book, in the Old Testament, it tells you hardened Pharaoh's heart. We don't go to Romans. We don't have to go to Romans. Who hardened his heart?
Oh, of course, the Most High.
Okay, so is it safe to say that had Yah not told him what to do and hardened his heart, that he would have let him go?
Right, but the Most High is not coming down literally. They're putting us on His back and taking us back to Israel. He's going to use the nations, like you just said earlier.
Of course. So what is your point? But it's all Yah.
Of course.
Hold on, stop. Listen, now you're going into a whole, like, you're going into retard land now. Listen. Yah controls the will of man. Yah controls everything. Everything is laid before Yah. Nothing is withheld from Yah. Yah causes all. Yeshaya chapter 45. I make peace, create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. Man only thinks he does because he's not in tune with Yah. But if he was in tune with Yah, he would know it's the creator.
It's not a man that fucking steps, right? I was going to say that.
Okay, that's the book of Jeremiah chapter 10, what? Verse 23, right? Check this
out.
Right. Okay, hold on.
So for those who don't know, the topic of the show was, are the nations going to bring us back to the UFOs? So what he's proven today is that the UFOs are not going to bring us back, but the Most High is going to use the nations, to bring us back.
Jeremiah 10 and 23. Oh, Lord, oh Yah, I know that the way of man is not in himself. It is not in man that walketh to direct his steps. What does the book of Psalms tell us? Don't Yah tell us through the prophets that he what? At night he sealeth our instructions in dreams? Huh?
Yeah, that's right, brother.
Hold on.
So there's plenty of eschatological passages that say that the Most High Himself is going to save Israel, but we know that He's going to use the nations to do it. You see what I'm saying? That's the point I was trying to make, and I think that's the point that Brother Hezekiah wants to drive home tonight as well.
Of course, because the point is we ain't getting on no damn UFO, right? We ain't, like I said, we ain't getting on. It just told you the ships of Tarshish, and that's why you seen the Queen of England talking about this your last Christmas and all these other different things. Listen, hold on. Let me see, 33 and 16. Let me go back to Job. Can you still see what I'm doing?
Yep, you're in Jeremiah 10.
Okay.
And I got one last scripture before we close out, Daniel 12 and 1.
Okay. Hold on 1 second.
This other scripture said the Most High Himself is going to get busy. He's going to come down and fight for us, But Daniel 12 tells you that the angel Michael is going to come down and fight for us.
No, it said he that fighteth, meaning he's always and always have been fighting for us.
It's called the Great Prince in Daniel 12.
Okay, hold on 1 second. All right, so it says, can you see that, Job 33? Can you see that?
Yep.
Okay, so check this out. 33 and 16, I think it's 16. Okay, verse 14. For the strong one speaketh once, yea, twice, yet man perceiveth it not. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon man and the slumberings upon the bed, then he opened the ears of men and sealeth their instruction. that he may withdraw man from his purpose and hide pride from man. He keepeth back his soul from the pit and his life from perishing by the sword. A lot of times your ancestors would tell you, your grandmother would tell you, hey, she'd say what? If you got a big decision to make, stuff like that, don't worry about it. Just sleep on it. Seems like ancestors and our grandmothers and fathers and mothers were a lot more intelligent than we give them credit for, right? All right, so what was the last one for Daniel 12:1?
Yeah, if we go there, can we go to Genesis 1? Now, let me ask you my last question before we close out. Was it the Elohim? Is that plural? Or was it just the Most High, like in Job 9:8? Like it says, the Most High himself did it.
In what verse?
1.
Okay. See, right here, this is why when they transliterate it, they turn the word to God. Now, Elohim, it tells you think it means gods. Y'all already told you they're not any gods. But we know the word God just means strength. El, strength, right? Now, watch what this says. Can you see it on the screen?
Oh, yeah, we see it.
I'm saying, can you see the definition of Elohim on the screen?
Oh, yeah.
Now, watch this here. It's going to give you everything you need to know. You know when anything is put in what? Parentheses, that's added, right? But I want to show you something. It says gods in the ordinary sense, plural, right? But notice when they translate it, they didn't put an S on it. But specifically used in the plural, thus especially with the article of the supreme God. You can't have supreme people. Supreme God, singular. See that? Of the supreme God. And then it says occasionally apply by way of deference to magistrates. That's why when we was looking at the book of Ruth, you was talking about judges and stuff like that. The word Elohim can mean judges. See it down there? It says what? Sometimes it's superlative. It says angels, exceeding, God. Then it says gods in parentheses. Then it says great, judges, mighty. See that? So you have to know which one is applicable to the verse to use the correct definition. You understand? Remember, check this out. Remember,
that's not plural. That's not plural.
No, it's not plural. Remember, okay. That's why they made it singular. Remember this here? In it's verse Exodus 34:29, it says, and it came to pass when Moses came down from the Mount Sinai with 2 tables of testimony in Moses' hand, when he came down from the mount, that Moses wist not that the skin of his face shone while he talked with him. When you click on that word shone, it says karan, to push or gore, used only as diminutive from Hebrews 7:16 to shoot out horns. Figuratively, raise, have horns, and then it says shine. So we know that his face was shining because it says in verse 30, and when Aaron and all the children of Israel saw Moses, behold, the skin of his face, not of his head, they were afraid. Now, what did the Jews do? Being retarded, what did they do? Check this out. Can you see that, my screen?
You gotta click out and click back in again.
Okay, I click out and click back in. Check this out. This is what they did, right?
We're gonna close out. I know it's getting late. We're gonna close out.
That's cool. This is what they did. Let me show you something. Check this out. Can you see?
Yeah. Michelangelo's Moses is depicted with horns on his head. For those who don't know, one of the definitions for shown,
read it. Hold on. No, read it. It says Moses is actually described as having rays of the skin of his face, which Jerome in the Vulgate had translated as horns. The mistake in translation is possible because the word kirin in the Hebrew language can mean either radiated light or grew horns. So when Jerome, the Latin Vulgate, they translated it incorrectly.
Jerome added a lot of things to the King James as well. It was Jerome who did a lot of the adding.
I know, but listen, we all know that Moses didn't grow horns. It said on his face. First off, when you look at this picture right here, I don't see horns on his face. It shows 2 horns on his head. But when you go to the verse, it says what? The horns were where? It says, Moses, behold, the skin of his face shone, not his head. You see those horns on his head? That's horns on the head. But the verse says the rays on his face. There's no horns here. Michelangelo's retarded. That's all. Just like Jerome was retarded.
Yeah.
See, because this is what happened when you got heathens translating the book. So now you got people running around thinking Moses got horns like he's a damn animal.
That's right. See, so we're getting late. We went over time, went over an hour because we started late today. Hopefully, we didn't get any guests come in today. I guess nobody got the link. But you want to close out anything, brother? Because it's getting late. We want to close out. Want to close out anything?
Most important thing. Hold on, let me cancel this out. So the people can know. Okay, so people can know exactly what I'm talking about. Some of the books that I use today. You see how thick that is, right? This is the Webster's Third New International Dictionary, right? And it is, trying to look and see exactly when it was, what's the name? It's the new, and it's unabridged, right? You might sometimes hear Tariq Bey talking about an unabridged dictionary, right? So this is unabridged, right? Then you see the Unger's Bible Dictionary, right? This is where I brought Ptolemy on page 578 when you look under Jerusalem. So some people want to know where I'm getting this stuff from. I really hate that people really couldn't, I don't think they can really see it like talking about, but oh, that looks better right there. Okay, you might have to just screen, stop it and look at it and read it if you can. But see that? That's dealing with Ptolemy, the king of the Greeks, sending us what into Africa? That was us. Okay. Then you got the big boy here, New Columbia Encyclopedia, right? Page 1415, dealing with Jews, Jerusalem. And then also it'll tell you, that was another good thing I didn't read out of this book. It tells you the Palestinian Jews look to the Alexandrian Jews, the Edomites living in Egypt, for guidance because we have fallen so far. The Palestinians are Israelites. Okay? The Palestinians are children of Israel. Now, when you think about Yasser Arafat, all those people like that, they don't look like us because we're not talking about them. I'm not saying every Palestinian is an Israelite, just like every African American is an Israelite, just like everybody in Brazil are Israelites, right? But and that's not for us to decide who's an Israelite anyway. We deal with the laws, statutes, commandments, precepts, order, and judgment because the nations are going to have to bow to Yah anyway. So we're not worried about that. So what we're worried about is fixing our people, and we fix our people with the truth. We don't fix them with joining camps and cults. Okay, we don't fix them with bringing out this nonsense and doing all this other crazy stuff. And I know one. I'm glad you said something because I want to close out with this. I hope I got it in here. I don't see it in here right now, but I'm looking for a book. I'm looking for a book. I don't see it in here. Hold on one second because I want to show the people something real quick because a lot of people, don't really pay attention to these things. And maybe I left it in my bedroom. It could be in my bedroom or whatever the case may be. So I might not have it in here because I think I was looking at it recently. But let me look over here and see on this other bookshelf over here. I had another Bible dictionary I want to show people some stuff in it, but it's fine. I don't have it with me right now. Oh, we were talking about the term Christian being a derogatory term. I want you to hold on for a second. 1 second, brother, okay? Just hold on for 1 second. All right. So what I want to show you, this is one of my wife's, but I got one as well. It's a KJV study Bible. As you can see, now my wife, I don't know if you can see the writing or whatever, but I should get down. So that's what we do. Yeah, we YISRAEL. Well, anyway, so what I want to show you something real quick. For everybody I've been trying to tell people this, but they don't really believe it. I want to show them something real quick. Acts chapter 11, verse 26. I want to show you something real quick before we go, because I don't think I even showed you this before. But I want to show you some in the book of Acts, chapter 11, verse 26. Okay, now check this out. I'm going to highlight this so you can read this, and this will be the last thing I can close out on. Let me grab a highlighter real quick. All right, thank you, YISRAEL, for being patient with me. Okay, for being patient with me, and I'm gonna show you because this is her version, and it's not. Let me see. It's not highlighted as you can see, but I'm about to highlight it so you can read it. Katrina, you bring me that other one? Oh, you got it. Thank you, babe. Thank you. You want to say hey to him? Hey. Okay, so this. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so I'm gonna highlight this for you so you can see it. Okay, I want you to, because I don't think I ever showed you this, but I say it all the time to you. But a lot of people don't never see it. And I know you just bought you a King James Study Bible, so I want you to see it too. I just tried to highlight it so you can see it or whatever. Hopefully I didn't mess it up, but I don't know if you can see that. Dang on camera. I'm gonna read it to you. It says, the believers were called Christians first in Antioch. This is Acts chapter 11, 26. The name Christian was at first a derogatory term. And I'm gonna put my finger underneath the word derogatory. See that? Derogatory term. See that? At first, a derogatory term. See that? The believers were called Christians first in Antioch. See that? When you come back over here, it was at first a derogatory term.
Can you finish reading that, brother? It looks good. Like it's going into something good.
It says, referring to the people of Christ. Obviously, the Antiochians, constantly hearing the name of Christ, named these people such. The Jews would never label them as Christians because that would be tantamount to saying that these were the people of the Messiah. The term Christian occurs in only two other biblical passages, 26 and 28 and 1 Peter 4 and 16.
All right.
As you can see, King James what? Study Bible.
Study Bible. Yeah, I didn't get mine yet. I got to get it soon. Yeah.
That's just one. That's just one. I got so many books and Bibles in here. I got stuff. I got stuff so old. Go to these thrift stores, you can find all kind of stuff, man. Stuff so old. And you see a lot of good different stuff. But so like I said, so with that being the case, I feel that I've shown enough evidence that we're not going on any UFOs, right? That we're not gonna be beam me up, Scotty. That as Yah said, the nations are gonna take us out. While we're running around here hating the nations, we need to just hate ourselves. Clean yourself up. Every Garner got choked out, but he's out there selling cigarettes on a street corner. See what I'm saying? More than I don't know what day it was on. Probably was Shabbat on a Saturday. Could have been. Could have been any day. But he's out there selling cigarettes. A lot of people don't know that cigarettes have pig blood in it. So, and then he's not. Now let's not get it twisted. He's not a practicing Israelite. Okay. Now he's an Israelite, but he's not keeping the law, statutes, commandments, precepts, orders, and judgments of Yah. Then his daughter just died. I think about a month ago. Heart attack. She young. She just died. Now, are we thinking? Now, hold on. Is that not Yah? You see what I'm saying? So we got to get our act cleaned up. Don't worry about what the nations did. Yah already told you what He gonna do to the nations. Those that hate you. The double curse going back on them. And you starting to see the Europeans, oh, they cursed all right. You starting to see them jokers talking about jobs, complaining about police brutality. The same thing we've been crying about since the 60s, they're now crying about it. The curses are reversing. We're just not paying attention. They don't have enough to take care of their family. They make America great again. What you think that's about? They want what they used to have. Make America great again. But we're not paying attention to it. They're getting the curses now. And you start to look at us rising, getting better wisdom, information, keeping the law, statute, commandments, precepts, orders, and judgments, learning different things every day, following the book, and we see us growing. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, all the people like Sean Bell and all those guys, I feel sorry for them, but they don't give you the supreme confidence that they keep the law, statute, commandments. Would you agree? I'm just looking. I don't think Trayvon Martin was a Torah. I don't think he was keeping the law.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So we got to stop blaming. That's what punks do. Punks blame women. Punks blame, other people for their misfortune and faults. Instead of just saying, you know what, I'm a man and I'm going to do what it takes to make this work, make it happen. And that's what we should do. Like I said, you can't fight him and whoop him. You can't go get guns. You don't make guns, you don't make no bullets, so you can't whoop him. So what you complaining about? Stop crying. Just fix yourself. Get right in body, get right in mind, eat right, eat healthy. Teach your children and your people how to eat right, eat healthy. Get in tune with Yah. You can't think clearly. How you gonna decipher this book clearly if you can't even think clearly? Because you're drinking.
Right. You know what I'm saying? You African Americans, you Negroes, you blacks, you are Israelites. You're not Egyptians, you're not Africans.
You are Israelites, you're not Egyptians, you're not Jews, you're not Africans. My father, who formerly was known as Yaakov, his name was not Jew. His name was YISRAEL. Okay? And I don't have a dog in the fight with people saying Abaya Yasha Allah and all these different things. I mean, that's what you're into, but don't try to push that on people as if it's fact. That's the only thing I say. That's why Zephaniah said he's going to give us a pure language.
Pure language.
So if you want to use it, listen, I'm all for it. I've used it before because as a people, we can do what we want. It's us. Do what we want to do with it. But we can't teach that is the language, a pure language. We can't do that. We can't do that now. We cannot do that. We can't sit there and start saying Ariyah gave us the pure Hebrew. Come on, man, stop it. We can't do that. That hasn't happened yet. When we go back to the land, then Yah is going to give us the bond of the covenant, and that stuff is going to be written down again. And this time, it's going to be written in the language that we learn. And no one's going to take that language from us. No one's going to tell us Abib is Nissan, right? No one's going to. Okay. And another thing for you Negroes, Passover. Passover is the 14th day at evening, technically the 15th day. It's not. People talk about Passover, April 12th, April 10th, April 2nd, March 31st. Come on, man. Stop following these Jews. 14th day at even. And that word even, dark, because darkness, the night and the day, it says was the first day. The evening and the morning was the first day. And morning is anything to sunset. And darkness is the evening is the nighttime if you look it up in the Hebrew. So like I said, we start our days when it gets dark. Europeans started when it gets light outside. We were agricultural people. And there's certain things you can do in the dark, certain things you can't do in the dark. You can bake bread. Because when the people woke up the next morning, they wouldn't eat all this genetically modified bull crap. They was baking bread. You know what I'm saying? They was real food. Slaughtering animals. Kosherly, right? Slaughtering animals and stuff like that. They weren't just going around just willy-nilly going into getting white bread and people catching diabetes. You don't see nobody in the book with diabetes. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, the bee is unclean. I know I said that earlier. People might say, how you going to say honey is unclean? Go back to Leviticus chapter 11. What does it say? Those insects we can eat, they must leap upon all four. Bees don't leap. They fly. Bees don't leap. I've never seen a jumping bee. And then a bee, since it don't leap, it's unclean. And then it says what? That's why it says the grasshopper, the ball locust, right? These things leap upon the earth upon all fours. Bees don't leap. They fly. And if you look at the diagram of a bee, how it makes honey, it takes the nectar, puts it in its mouth, then it has a stomach. It digests it, and then it throws it back up. And then they use that honey for food. The honey is the food for the bee. That's why when you mess with a honeycomb, the bees come out and attack you. That's their food. And they seal it in these little wax containers that you call a honeycomb. But remember, you say, well, Samson ate honey. Yeah, because you go in the book of Judges. What I tell you all the time, what you know, in the book of Judges, the people did what? Every man did what?
It was right in his own sight.
Right in his own sight. So during the time, that's why Samson was crazy. And that's why they was always in the captivity. That's why they was always fighting, trying to get free. Because every man did what was right in his own sight. And remember, show you how dumb it is. You know, we can't touch dead animals. But what did Samson do? That nigga went and stuck his hand in a dead lion and showing you bees are unclean. They made a honeycomb inside of a dead lion. Took it, scooped it out, ate some, then went and gave his mom and daddy some. Knowing doggone well we can't eat things that have been touched, dead things. See, every man doeth what is right in his own sight. We got to get better than that. So with that being the case, hopefully this reached everybody in good spirit. I know people gonna have a lot of questions, and I welcome all questions. I don't hide from questions. Me and this brother talk all the time. I don't hide from questions, but I'm very methodical. You can't just say things to me that don't make sense. It has to be something logical that we can build upon, and you can ask all the questions in the comment section when this goes up. I'm sure it's going to upload for the brother. Then I'll take it, snatch it down. And I really want y'all to get involved in these things. Or are y'all too busy? Are the children of Israel too busy with life?
That's right. Yeah, you know, Jacobs.
Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? This system about to fall, and here we is running around here ripping and running, and we tied up in all these intangibles. Like I said, the brother told you, we are the children of Israel. That's who we are. That's who we be. You can't run from that. You run from it, you cursed. If you stop doing the wicked, then Yah will make your enemies have mercy and compassion on you. And I've experienced that firsthand in my personal life. In my job, things that I know people get crushed for. Yah make them show mercy and compassion to me. I'm a young man, and they make them show mercy and compassion to me. You know what I'm saying? You got in the professional world, I go in that thing with a beard like this. And and people like, yes, sir, whatever case may be. Because it's all about how you carry yourself. When people know you're a man of the Most High, even if they don't know who Most High is, but they know it's something different about you. Children, women, men, they know something different about you.
Yeah, don't you see what else information about?
Huh?
Leave your information.
Oh, well, like I said, the brother, they can contact me via email, turkd1@yahoo.com, TURKD as in Delta, AONE@yahoo.com, turkd1. Or you can hit me up on YouTube videos. Because I'd rather interact with you guys in the comment section. So come with the questions. If it's something I can't answer, that's good. Because that's going to make me hit the research. And we'll get the answer together. And then we grow from there. That's what we should be doing anyway.
That's right.
Instead of watching Atlanta Housewives.
Yeah, that's right. So with that, I want to say thanks for listening. Don't hang up, Brother Zeke. We're going to talk after this. Okay. Thank you guys for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button. And with that, we're gone.